decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. Taylor. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie. The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think one left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian.
The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton. There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book.
I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
I tested positive. Let's use this example of me having it as proof that you can get it too. God forbid. The rest of us should be staying at home for our mothers and the people that we love. And to keep us farther apart will ultimately bring us closer together in this cause. We have to do everything we can to avoid being sick. No matter where the virus goes, the way to stop it will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Staying home saves lives. I don't want some jack loser, fat tire biker get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it. All right, here is the official re-entry from the basement.
You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Taylor.
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh, my. You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
We are now, effective today, requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving. Then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Taylor.
Some people calling.
Yeah.
Why don't you put the Boston Patriots in there in place of one of the teams? Because that way we can laugh at Markey.
Sure.
Thanks.
Ability for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
They're outlandish, they're outrageous, and they're hypocrites. They're the women of The View.
Bernie was so menschy in that moment, like a real guy. I actually am aroused by him.
Timothy McVeigh.
was a Christian. Just saying. Hitler was a Christian. Well, he didn't like the Catholics.
Trump needs to be medicated and hospitalized at this point, or he is going to just kill all of us.
I mean, do we have to wait till the hammer and sickle is on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman.
You have tanning lotion on?
A little, I had makeup that was a little...
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Everyone has said things they wish they didn't say. Everyone has done things they wish they didn't do. So who's next? Who will the cancel culture attack next?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I was in the chamber, unlike AOC, that faked her outrage with another hoax.
My brain was able to have so many thoughts in that moment.
You not only have great intellectual capacity, you have great personal courage. I've been with some of you when we've been shot at.
No way. I'm not buying it. I lived a situation like that. And it doesn't have to be real, the threat, for you to believe it's imminent.
You
and
believe.
real.
Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. If you'd like to join us today, 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Christopher Plummer was not in the death pool. So the death pool continues. 844-500-4242. I want to go right to what I think is the most appalling story of the day. It's a local story. Charlie Parker was elected governor of Massachusetts in 2014, campaigning against an automatic gas tax increase that had been passed by the legislature, and it was on the ballot as a referendum question. And in spite of being outspent 30-1, the taxpayers prevailed in fairly handy fashion. I think it was 54-46. And he married that, and those of us who were involved, including Holly Robichaud was just on, and Jeff Deal and myself and a bunch of other, we won by more than 100,000 votes. Charlie Parker won by 40,000 votes. He rode our coattails to victory. He rode your coattails to victory because a lot of you went out and got the signatures and held signs to stop the automatic gas tax increases. So that was 7 years ago, right? So 7 years later, he has a hack working for him who says, and we have it on tape, that we have to break your will, meaning you and me and everybody who drives, everybody who heats their homes with anything. He wants to break our will, a Rhodes Scholar. It's unbelievable. He's paid $130,000 a year to try to screw the taxpayers of Massachusetts. And he's openly bragging about it at an out-of-state conference. He doesn't even say it to our faces. He goes to Vermont and says he's going to screw us. You got to listen to this.
I must break you.
This guy's name is Dave Ismay, $130,000 a year. He's a Rhodes Scholar and he lives in Chestnut Hill. So I assume he drives a donkey to work every day, right? And, digs up peat bog to heat his home in Chestnut Hill. He's a real man of the people, this guy, Dave Ismay. Okay, so let's hear him. This is a couple of weeks ago. To a Vermont climate conference. He's bragging about his plans to screw the taxpayers who pay his exorbitant salary.
One thing that we found through our analysis is that 60% of our emissions come from, as I have been starting to say, you and me, except you guys are in Vermont. 60% of our emissions come from residential heating and passenger vehicles. So let me say that again. 60% of our emissions that need to be reduced come from you, the person across the street, the senior on fixed income, right? There is no bad guy left, at least in Massachusetts, to point the finger at, turn the screws on, and break their will so they stop emitting. That's you. We have to break your will. I can't even say that publicly. What I'm trying to say is,
we have to break your will. Again, this guy is a pampered puke saying he has to break our will. And are you a senior on fixed income? He's going to break your will. Why should you have your thermostat at 65 degrees? This guy, this Rhodes Scholar from Chestnut Hill. Oh, by the way, he's not really from Massachusetts. We got his phone number. He has a cell phone from the 510 area code. You know what that is? That's Berkeley, California. That's where he's from. Berkeley, that's where he went to law school. Berkeley, California. He's like some 10-pot third world dictator. He ought to have epaulets on his shoulders. We have to break your will. That's what he's saying. Imagine if Trump had ever said something like that. We have to break your will. Unbelievable. So, and Charlie Parker, though, Charlie Parker, he's not concerned about this. He loves the guy. He's another pampered puke. From this pampered puke administration. They're all in bed together. The guy is the Undersecretary of Climate Change. You might as well call him the Undersecretary of Virtue Signaling. I've invited him to be on the show today to discuss how he plans to break our will. I said, before you go back to your third world hellhole, or I didn't say hellhole, I used another word. I said, why don't you come on and tell us us from Massachusetts, how you blow-in drifter, are planning to break our will. This really bugs me. I don't get angry easily, but this kind of overweening smugness and pomposity. This is a religion. You understand? This is just they have the right under the First Amendment to have any religion they want, but they don't have the right to burn us at the stake. And that's what they want to do. How are they any different than jihadists? They want to shut down everything. And they have no real scientific basis for any of this crap. They just pick and choose. So here's Charlie Parker when he's told that he's got a guy that he's paying $130,000 a year who says he's going to break our will. Here's what he says. Cut one.
I saw the video this morning. Lieutenant Governor and I both did. Followed up with Secretary Theorides. First of all, no one who works in our administration should ever say or think anything like that, ever. Secondly, Secretary Theorides is going to have a conversation with him about that. And third, one of the main reasons we didn't sign the climate bill when it got to our desk was because we were specifically concerned about the impact it was going to have.
He wants to jack up the gas tax 38 cents per gallon.
The pieces that were in it, which means it also doesn't represent administration policy or position.
So here you have Charlie Parker, the governor, Harvard, lives in Swampscott, $250,000 a year, hasn't missed a paycheck. He is going to have a discussion with Climate Katie, the Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs. She lives in the Bosque Dell of Arlington, the People's Republic of Arlington. She went to Dartmouth College. She makes $170,405.81 a year, hasn't missed a paycheck. And then she's going to have a talk with this guy, David Ismay, who is a Rhodes Scholar, who lives in the Bosque Dell, the exclusive suburb of Chestnut Hill, and makes $130,000 a year and hasn't missed a paycheck. And they're going to all discuss the best way that they can break our will. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just swell? 844-500-4242. This just really bugs the hell out of me. I can't tell you how irritated this makes me to have, and they're not going to fire him. And I guarantee you, as Holly said, if it snows on Sunday night, as is predicted, this guy will be a non-essential employee. He won't be there. It's so crucial that he be there saving the climate, the Rhodes Scholar. But that he won't show up for work on Monday, and neither will Climate Katie, by the way. But they want to jack up all of your heating costs and all of your gasoline bills. They want you to pay 30. It isn't enough. But Charlie Parker in the last year has destroyed 1 out of every 11 jobs in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. His disastrous hackorama Department of Public Health has done no regulation of the nursing homes, and 1 out of every 8 nursing home patients in the Commonwealth is dead. We have the highest nursing home death rate in the country, the 3rd highest overall death rate in the country. And their solution is to raise gas prices by 38 cents per gallon. It's amazing. I am nostalgic for Deval Patrick and M. Stanley Dukakis. Has there ever been a more catastrophic, calamitous governor than this guy? And now he has a guy, and he's not going to do anything about it. I'll give you the quote again. We have to break your will. We have to break your will, meaning people who drive cars and who heat their home with fuel oil or natural gas, which is everybody. 844-500-4242. We'll take some calls on this. We're not going to spend the whole day on this, but I had to get it off my chest. It's just so appalling. And we have to get rid of these people. I mean, we have to eject them in the 2022 elections. Charlie Parker cannot, or Karen Pay to play Polito, they cannot be allowed to have another term. They've already destroyed the state. The state is on its knees. And their plans are to turn up the heat, so to speak. All right, 844-500-4242. Great news. The Gen 40 heater is back and just in time for the really cold temperatures. Oil prices are going to go up. The Keystone XL pipeline has been stopped. 35 million gallons of oil a day are going to China instead of the U.S. Isn't that great? Now there is a new moratorium on fracking on federal land. That means the prices are going up even more. They're going to break us. They're trying to break us, as Charlie Parker says, his people. It was 10 degrees in parts of New England this past week. It's been snowing. It's hard. The weather is wretched. You need to start planning, and that means you need the Gen 40 heater. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 performs like no other heater I've ever used. It is remarkable. Taylor can tell you, right, Taylor?
Well, I don't know if Howie's going to need it tonight, considering how heated he is, but if somebody's trying to break your will, this is definitely the heater for you. You can take it from room to room. It's very easy and intuitive to use, and you just set it and forget it. It's a beautiful piece of machinery.
The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working from home now, and you will need to pay close attention to the heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieDeal to get $50 off the sales price. That's EdenPure.com and use code word HowieDeal for an extra $50 off. These heaters are in high demand, so go right now to EdenPure.com. I'm Howie Carr.
He didn't come here to be made sport of. Howie Carr.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I can't tell you how many times in the past couple of months, somebody I know has told me a story.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
Somebody I know has told me a story about how they got it, and it all goes back every single time to some informal gathering, and nobody wore masks, nobody kept their distance, and the virus spread.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world. But it's the only world they know.
I mean, it's pretty common at this point that that's where a big piece of this is coming from.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents who are no longer with us.
I think it's up to 30,000 people have died.
Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus thousand people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. 200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion, 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having 2 classes of 12, for example. But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, the Oval back in May 2019, a $15 million, $15,000, $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
When you're slapped, you'll take it and like it.
Howie Carr is back.
844-500-4242. Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. For all your house odors, you need the Eden Pure air purifier. Go to EdenPure.com, and with code word Howie, the Thunderstorm, which I'm holding in my hand right now on the social media, is available for under $90, and shipping is free. It's Super Bowl weekend. So we needed a Super Bowl type question. Taylor, what is our Super Bowl type question?
Who is Joe Biden rooting for on Sunday? The Chicago Cardinals, the Houston Oilers, the Dallas Texans, the Oakland Raiders, San Diego Chargers, or the Boston Patriots?
I threw in Boston Patriots so we could dump on Ed Markey again. He still thinks they're named the Boston Patriots. I'm going to say he's rooting for the Chicago Cardinals because they've been out of business longer than any of those other teams, as long as those other teams.
Mr. President, American history was made last night. The Boston Patriots won the Super Bowl.
I know that I'm going to get some messages on the text line and say they weren't the Chicago Cardinals. They were the St. Louis Cardinals before they were the Arizona Cardinals. But before they were the St. Louis Cardinals, they were the Chicago Cardinals. Right?
So 48% say the Chicago Cardinals, 32% say the Boston Patriots, 10% for the Dallas Texans.
The Dallas Texans are now the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. That's just a joke type of question. 844-500-4242. Let's see. Chill says 860. You live in Florida. I pay taxes in Massachusetts, though, still. And I live in Massachusetts 6 months out of the year. So, and, I didn't, I guess I did drift into Massachusetts when I was a kid, but I was born in New England. I was born in Maine, which used to be part of Massachusetts. Let's see. 508 says, I can't believe so many people sign up to be treated like this. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Let's see. Looking at this guy, he couldn't break a toothpick, let alone mind our will. Maybe we should burn whale oil. Jay from Chelsea says, sure, you're mad as hell, but mad enough to make you move to Florida? 617. Here's what 207. I live in Maine. Just raised my thermostat to 74 degrees. And again, if you're a seasoned citizen living on a fixed income, this guy's coming after you. You know, he figures you're a stationary target. You can't run away, I guess. I guess that's what he figures. So you're just going to sit there and take it. You're not going to be able to. You're going to have to take. You want to go to a doctor's appointment? You'll have to get on a bus. Okay, and just buy some more sweaters, knit some mittens to wear, because because we have to save the planet. I'm sure he's not. I wonder what kind of car Dave Ishmael has got. We know what kind of car Charlie Parker's got. He's got a state police vehicle. Bob, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Bob.
Howie.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, I am so bull bleep with this guy. The conversation with him should be, you're fired.
Right.
What is this puke? What is this puke doing in our administration? I mean, Charlie Baker got to be the most spineless jellyfish governor there ever has been. Break my will. I'll break your back if I ever run into you.
We have to break your will. I mean, is he from Venezuela? I know he went to college at Berkeley. I mean, again, that's where he picked up this third world crap. But what the hell? Well, why do we have to pay him? He's living in Chestnut Hill. Do you live in Chestnut Hill? You who he wants to break your will? Emil, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Emil.
How you doing, Howie?
Good.
I'm just making a point that, listening to you, listening to other radio talk show hosts, I don't even watch Fox News anymore or any alternative, because I'm a common sense driven person, and we are in a post-political America. We're in a post-one citizen, one vote America. So where does public opinion matter anymore in this? And I'm not trying to be a doom and gloom.
I agree.
I'm a reality-based person.
Emil, I thought the same thing Bob did. When I saw this morning, I thought, well, this guy's going to be gone by this afternoon. You can't get away with telling people when you just blew into the state a couple of years ago, we have to break your will. But he's okay. He's fine. He's part of the pampered puke class that runs this state.
Exactly. He won't be touched. The Democrats and the media and the intelligentsia and the elite class, they're never going to give up the presidency again. There's always going to be some special way that this is all going to always work out in their favor. And so again, look, because I am a reality-based person and I'm common sense driven, my purpose here is to say, you better just learn to go along to get along, because unless somebody is willing to fight, and I'm not trying to incite, Lord knows I don't want to be tracked down, but unless someone's willing to stand up for the Republic, it's over at this point.
I know. We just got to keep pushing ahead, though. And again, it's very frustrating that people can get away with saying crap like this. I mean, why is this guy on the payroll in the first place? The Undersecretary for Climate Change. How about, can we rename him the Undersecretary for Virtue Signaling? The Undersecretary for Hot Air? 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr. Did you already blow it on your New Year's resolution? Didn't stick to that trendy new diet plan? Stop the roller coaster and get the weight off for good. People still say to me, wow, Howie, you look really great with all that weight off. But it's a lot more than looking better. It really is about feeling better, too. For me, it's about not having to wear a CPAP mask in order to sleep through the night. I'm able to go on bike rides every day. Sometimes I go on 2 or 3. I have much lower blood pressure, a lot more energy. I still eat what I want to eat, but unlike before the sleeve, now I don't overeat. Get the weight off for good. Call Newton Wellesley Weight Loss Center. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss. Don't procrastinate any longer. Whatever your age, whatever your gender, do it. Call 617-243-3724 or go to nwh.org/weight loss.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I can't tell you how many times in the past couple of months, somebody I know has told me a story.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
Somebody I know has told me a story about how they got it, and it all goes back every single time to some informal gathering where nobody wore masks, nobody kept their distance, and the virus spread.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world. But it's the only world they know.
I mean, it's pretty common at this point that that's where a big piece of this is coming from.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Here's 1 minute with Governor
Charlie Parker in Massachusetts.
I'd certainly put myself on that list. I'm a basketball player. I always was. There's a lot at stake here. This is not a virus to be trifled with or disrespected. Respect the virus. I have a hard time understanding when we're going to be able to play basketball again. We can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that. I need to talk to the Attorney General and find out what the actual parameters of the ruling are. Did this just happen? And the reason I read that story is because I'm a basketball player, and I agree. I was first made aware of the discrepancy on this on the day that the registrar resigned. The vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority of the people who are part of these protests are there to make a point and to make it peacefully. That is so obvious, I'm amazed that anybody could say anything other than that. I would love to be able to open everything up tomorrow. That would be an incredibly irresponsible thing to do.
I don't mean to brag, but I'm a great gift giver. My problem, though, is that I always forget about Valentine's Day. Thankfully, the Howie Carr Show has great sponsors that have me covered this February 14th, and they can help you out, too. Flowers are a must, so I'm going to order a beautiful bouquet of roses through 1-800-Flowers. Just going to go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click microphone, enter code Howie, and take advantage of these discounts. Ooh, I can even double my order for even more savings. Oh, she'll love that. Let's see, what else? Ooh, I bought her some new earrings for Christmas. The Kathy Ireland Gem Spa is perfect for keeping those as stunning as they were in the display case. MyGemSpa.com and code word GRACE gets me 20% off. Nice. What else? Ooh, candles. I know Old New England Soap has those Woodwick soy candles to keep the house smelling fresh. OldAnySoap.com. Oh, wow, they have a lot of candles and soaps to choose from. This is going to take some time. Oh, speaking of scents, she's been nagging me to get rid of that funky smell in the basement. Good thing the Thunderstorm air purifier is $10 off with code word Howie at EdenPure.com. That's it. All done. Thanks to our great sponsors for saving me time and money this Valentine's Day.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
We have to break your will. Imagine if Donald Trump had an appointee who said, we have to break your will to the American people. But Charlie Parker stands behind this guy. 2 peas in a pod, along with Climate Katie. In addition to going to UCal Berkeley Law School and being a Rhodes Scholar, he's also a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, believe it or not. He didn't spend much time in the Navy, but that's pretty scary right there, that a guy in the who comes out of an elite military school believes in basically this kind of third world talk about breaking your will, breaking the will of the people who live across the street from you and who are on fixed incomes. I mean, could the guy be any more filled with hatred and rage for people who actually work for a living? who haven't had everything handed to them, like him and Baker and Climate Katie, the environmental secretary. Not everybody got handed. Not everybody has a trust fund, guys. Some people have to actually fill up the car, and it hurts them to have to pull out a $20 or $20 bill or two $20 bills to fill up. They don't get a check every month from the trust fund Pater and Mater set up for them. I know that's hard for Charlie and Climate Katie and Dave to understand, but that's the reality. Bruce, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Bruce.
Howie, the first one is every time I get up in the morning, I get up, in the bathroom, shave, shower, whatever, and I look in the mirror and I say, "You're the one that voted for this guy," and I did. And I went to the Hard Rock Cafe with Kuna, and I went to rallies to support this guy. And I know I voted for him. And it's worse than knowing that I voted for my president and I never got my vote counted.
I know, Bruce. I mean, it's one of the worst votes I ever made in 2014. I didn't vote for him in 2018. He was already bad, but he's so much more terrible now than he was in 2018. I don't blame you. 860, maybe Parker will give the guy a promotion or a raise. Probably he will. I mean, he's proud. He's proud that he would say. I love the fact too, he says, no one in my administration should say something like that. So, Michael Kinsley, the old guy from CNN, he's I don't know, he's retired now, but he always used to say, it was the greatest thing he ever said. He said, a gaffe in Washington is when you inadvertently tell the truth. This was a Michael Kinsley gaffe. He told the truth. This is what they want to do. They want to crush the working classes. They want to crush the middle class. The COVID-19, that was one part of it, but this is the other piece, as they like to say, of crushing the middle class in Massachusetts. 844-500-4242, 774 says 68 living on fixed income in a 1999 motorhome. Lucky to have 50 degrees inside when it's 10 outside. Use my 01 car once a week for shopping. No comforts. Well, your will is going to have to be broken. Just ask the Parker administration. Michelle, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hey, I don't understand why everyone's so surprised at this, because this agenda's been in place since 1996 when the United States signed on to UN Agenda 21. And if you look at it,
I understand, Michelle, but I mean, isn't it amazing that they're just coming right out and saying it now, that they want to crush the will of the middle class?
Well, I've been talking about a UN Agenda 21 for years, and people say, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory." I said, "Go to the UN website; it's all right there."
I know, I get it. I get it, Michelle. 844-500-4240. Let's hear the cut again. Let's hear that whole cut again, where he says about going after the people. There's no one else to go after, so we have to go after. He says it's basically the middle class, people who work.
One thing that we found through our analysis is that 60% of our emissions come from, as I have been starting to say, you and me, except you guys are in Vermont. 60% of our emissions come from residential heating and passenger vehicles. So let me say that again. 60% of our emissions that need to be reduced come from you, the person across the street, the senior on fixed income, right? There is no bad guy left, at least in Massachusetts, to point the finger at, turn the screws on, and break their will so they stop emitting. That's you. We have to break your will. Right? I can't even say that publicly. What I'm trying to say is,
you just did say it publicly, you moron. Another Rhodes Scholar who's a complete moron. And so I guess, since he's proselytizing against heating your single family home and driving an internal combustion automobile, I guess he doesn't have a single family home in Chestnut Hill. He probably lives in one of those public housing projects in Chestnut Hill. And I'll bet he must take the Green Line into Beacon Hill every day from Chestnut Hill. What do you think the odds of either of those being true are? Zero. Paul, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, Howie, you know what? Ultimately, we need to put blame where blame is due, and that's on the people that continually vote for these incumbents. I remember, like you said, Baker was on 24/7 on your show, Cooner's show, everybody's show. You know, he was a John McCain. He's playing both sides of the fence. But I'll tell you what, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to make a prediction here, Howie.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, I want to come co-host your show with you. Okay?
I don't know about that, but tell me what your prediction is.
Move on.
Thank you. Russ, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Russ.
You know, Howie, since that SOB became the president, I'm paying 40 cents more a gallon for heating oil and at least 30 cents a gallon more for gasoline. And I'll tell you, all they're doing is hurting the lower middle class and the working poor. And the other thing I want to say, those SOBs turned around and forced people on unemployment. And now, instead of extending filing to the 15th of July, they're going to want 1/3 of that money back by the 15th of April. And where the hell are the people supposed to get that money?
Well, there's another story today on the wire about all these. You know, there's been this amazing amount of fraud, billions of dollars in unemployment fraud, and so now people are getting these income tax statements from the state for money that they never got, that they never received. I'm looking for it. Right, I'll find it somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I lost it. So they're being assessed taxes on money that was stolen from them by various fraudsters. It's just a total mess. And again, and they don't care. The people that are running the show, whether it's the Democrats in Washington or in this case the rhinos in Massachusetts, they just want to tuck it to people who work for a living or who used to work for a living and are now on a fixed income. Jack, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Howie, up in Maine right now. Hey, I just went by a bunch of wind towers. Guess what? They ain't spinning and the sun ain't shining. So what the hell am I going to plow my freaking half-mile-long road with? An electric snowplow?
You remember when Donald Trump was talking about how Biden wanted to go to the wind and the solar, and he said, "Hey, let's watch Netflix tonight." And then the wife says, "Oh no, we can't watch Netflix. It's cloudy. There's no wind." Right? I mean, what are they thinking of? Do they think that because they are they went to Ivy League colleges and they have a trust fund and they have a Tesla that they bought with their trust fund, that they don't have to worry about getting gasoline or having no energy to recharge their stupid lithium batteries that are much more polluting than any internal combustion machine? Thanks for the call. 844-500-4242. Richard, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Richard.
Hey, Howie, I post on the Globe, and boy, they come at me day in and day out. They're like a pack of wild hyenas. But anyway, I post every once in a while. I say, hey, be prepared. They're going to come for your driver's license someday. If you're 75 or older, they're going to say, hey, turn it in. They got a minimum driving age. They'll have a maximum driving age, and they'll break the will of the older people who are driving their cars and take their licenses away. Then they'll tell them, oh, we've got the finest transportation system in the country. Get on the bus.
Yeah. You know, have you ever said of anyone else, I'm going to break your will? I mean, that thought has never occurred to me. It's not something I want to do. I maybe some of you aren't going to believe this, but my theory is live and let live, you know? And this guy, he's a super lib. He's a card-carrying lefty making $130,000 a year as a hack for doing nothing. And he wants to break my will and your will. And Charlie Parker doesn't see anything wrong with it. Not a damn thing. 508 says, they broke my will. I moved to Florida, $7,700 a year for property taxes in Sandwich. That's Cape. More fees for the beach and the dump. See ya, Mass. 844-500-4242. Dawn, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dawn.
Didn't California go to all solar, all
They're trying to.
and all that?
They're trying to.
And they got brownouts.
Right. They got brownouts, and they've decided not to clear the forest clear the forest because it's not natural. So now they're plagued by more forest fires than they've had in a century and a half. Yeah,
they're going in the right direction, Biden's way.
I know. Why doesn't this guy move back to Berkeley? I mean, that's where his phone comes from. He's from the 510 area code. I mean, things were so wonderful there. I mean, brownouts. They have water shortages, feces on the sidewalk, needles in the gutters, heroin needles in the gutter. Why did he ever come to Massachusetts to break our will? I don't know why he left. Thanks for the call, Don. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
Hi, Howie. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Listen, I go back with you all the way to Jerry Williams. But listen, the article you're talking about is New York City. They got scammed for $5.5 billion in funds.
Yeah.
Unemployment funds.
It's happened across the country. It's going on. It's going on everywhere. You have people are filing for unemployment funds. They're just using other people's, social security numbers, birth dates, et cetera, and then you don't know that someone's filing under your name until you get a document telling you that you owe 1/3 of that money that this scammer got for income taxes. And then you have the other group, which I wrote about in my column a couple of weeks ago, all these people that are pretending that they have businesses, they're inventing businesses and then taking millions of dollars. There's one group in Ohio that I also printed out a story about. This family there, and some of them are from California, and they've set up all these farms that don't exist, like Ohio organic berries. They got $7 million, but they're these stories. They're every day. There are more of these stories coming out of the U.S. Attorney's office. I don't know if Biden's U.S. attorneys will prosecute them or not, because a lot of them look like they're undocumented. A lot of the people that are filing these things are undocumented Democrats. It's pretty clear. 844-500-4242. We're all looking for ways to save money, right? Especially now. So let me ask you this. How'd you like to keep an extra $961 a year in your pocket? That's how much Gabby customers save per year on average on car and home insurance. That's why when I was shopping for insurance, I used Gabby. This is the time of year we go shopping for insurance. Well, Gabby takes the pain out of shopping for insurance by giving you an apples-to-apples comparison of your current coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers, including Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers. Just link to your current insurance account, and in just minutes, you'll be able to see quotes for the exact same coverage that you currently have. I'm not really good with computers, but it was fast and easy to get online with Gabby. I just had been paying insurance premiums for more than 20 years to a company that I'd never checked. The company had been sold, the original owner had died, and I still never checked and to see if there were any new options available to me or new companies in the market. And I was overpaying a lot. I logged in with my current insurance provider. I was shown more than a dozen new quotes, and I was saved over $500 on my car insurance with Gabby. As I mentioned earlier, on average, Gabby customers save $961 per year. I'll bet that would be nice to have in your pocket every year as they try to break your will. If they can't find you savings like they did for me, they'll let you know so you can relax knowing you have the best rate out there. And they'll never sell your info, so no annoying spam or robocalls. You're probably overpaying on car and home insurance. See how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check and there's no obligation. Go to Gabby.com/Howie. That's GABI.com/Howie. GABI.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Defensive Strategies in Manchester, New Hampshire. Defensive Strategies is the premier firearms training company in southern New Hampshire with more than 100 classes from beginner to instructor level. Come to where the trainers train. Visit defensivestrategies.org.
Whether it's global warming, global cooling or climate change, one thing's for certain, the progressive moonbats can't stop talking about it.
We're talking about cities all over the world, major cities going underwater.
You know, I've spent a lot of time now with these young students, and they're scared. And a lot of young people are even suffering from, they're calling it extinction illness.
So that we can have people here who truly are committed to climate change, believe in climate change as though it's a religion, it's not a science.
A woman whose dreams of motherhood now taste bittersweet because of what I know about our children's future.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
That curing cancer is going to be much more difficult when there's so much climate change and pollutants in the environment, because a lot of cancer is environmentally caused.
Recognizing and acknowledging the link between animal agriculture and climate change is a very bold move, making tonight plant-based.
You've been hearing me talk about super beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why super beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of super beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind super beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But super beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of super beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out super beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first connect in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man.
Say what you will about him.
He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English. He doesn't even speak good English.
He's Howie Carr, and he's here to stay.
You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
That's what this guy, this Rhodes Scholar from Chestnut Hill, drifted into the state a few years back. That's what he relies on, a great ball of fire to heat his home. How's that working out on a day when there's no sun? Like, I don't know, maybe today. Great balls of fire. It works in the summer sometimes, but not all the time. So this is Charlie Parker today. Let's play his comment one more time. And again, remember, a gaffe is when you inadvertently tell the truth and you say something you shouldn't have said aloud, which is what Charlie Parker is saying. He shouldn't have said this aloud. Cut one.
I saw the video this morning. Lieutenant Governor and I both did. Followed up with Secretary Theorides. First of all, no one who works in our administration should ever say or think anything like that, ever. Secondly, Secretary Theorides is going to have a conversation with him about that. And third, one of the main reasons we didn't sign the climate bill when it got to our desk was because we were specifically concerned about the
Yeah. Enough with that. That's BS. Again, he wants to jack up the gas tax by 38 cents per gallon. That's how much he cares about you and me. He wants to break our will. 844-500-4242. Wasn't it enough, Charlie, to destroy 1 out of 11 jobs, to kill 1 out of 8 people in nursing homes, to get us to number 3 in overall death rate, number 1 in the nursing home death rate? Now you got this guy doing this to us? Jack, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Howie, I'm taking a look at Ismay's house. It's 5 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet, $1.3 million. He's renting it for $3,200 a month, and there's no solar panels, Howie.
It's worth $1.3 million, huh?
$1.3 million, built in 1920. Looks like it's pretty drafty, but boy, I bet it's great to hold garden parties there.
Yeah. Oh boy. I'll bet they have some nice soirees in the summer. They go and they all raise their toast and they say, screw the deplorables. Can you imagine people actually have to go to work in the morning? And when I was at Oxford, I had its time. And then Charlie says, I remember my days in Pennypacker Dorm at Harvard. And then Climate Katie talks about her days at the Dartmouth College. Yeah, they're all wonderful. They care so much about the planet and the climate. Katie, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Katie.
Hi, Howie. I was just thinking, it seems like the theme of, since March of last year, has kind of been to break us. It just feels like this ongoing breakage. I don't know. I wish it would stop.
Yeah, I wish it would stop too, Katie. There's a story in Time magazine. They're basically bragging now about how they fixed the election with all of these lawsuits to allow this mail-in voting, and everybody conspired. All the big lefty businessmen and all the big lefty unemployed types living on their moms' couches. They all wanted to come after the deplorables. They wanted to break our will. I'm Howie Carr.
Several years ago, we here at Matthews Brothers launched the website called MatthewsBrothers.com. We did this for a couple of reasons. First, it's our name, and it seemed to make sense that we name it after ourselves. Secondly, we thought it would be a useful place to post interesting things about our wicked awesome windows and doors. Shortly after we launched it, this fella, who insists on calling himself the webmaster, told us that he could put anything we wanted to on our website. Since we were getting kind of tired of seeing his vacation photos there, we took him up on his offer. Today, there's so much fun stuff to do on our website. It's like going to a theme park, but without the lines or the mask. Do you want to know the closest dealer to you? Even if you're out in the middle of nowhere, or worse yet, New Jersey? We've got a dealer locator for that. Want to page through a colorful catalog without having to lick your fingers? We've got a flip book for that. Accidentally take the bottom sash out of the frame and there's a blizzard coming and you can't get it back in and the factory's closed? We've even got a video for that. You can learn more about our wicked awesome windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate, candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean,
Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs.
civilization as we know it is at stake.
I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody anytime.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first kid in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment? Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of...
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can all see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. Little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and, Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac.
You say he lives on.
Not a lot. I know. I keep doing that.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that's
Taylor.
approved and even distributed before the...
Will you send me that Charlie Parker cut?
Sure.
Thanks.
I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline, or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Everyone has said things they wish they didn't say. Everyone has done things they wish they didn't do. So who's next? Who will the cancel culture attack next?
Live from the Matthews Brothers studio.
I'm sitting your story,
I was in the
McKay.
chamber, unlike AOC, that faked her outrage with another
There you
hoax.
My brain was able to have so many thoughts in that moment.
You not only have great intellectual capacity, you have great personal courage. I've been with some of you when we've been shot at.
No way. I'm not buying it. I lived a situation like that. And it doesn't have to be real, the threat, for you to believe it's imminent.
You
and
believe.
real.
Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. The number toll free is 844-500-4242. It's Friday afternoon. Grace is off today, but Taylor will be handling Police Blotter Facts Friday later. We have lots of good stuff. Everybody's been contributing. Not so many naked men, but a lot of women have been stealing cars lately. It seems to be part of the season, you know? Anyway, we're going to get to a lot of stuff here in this hour, and I just want to go over a lot of ridiculous news that's going on, and I'm going to let people comment as they will. But let's just start off with, you know how you can be now canceled if you suggest that perhaps there was chicanery in the November elections. But you can only be canceled if you're a Republican suggesting there was Democrat chicanery. There is a congressional election in the 22nd district of New York State, and Claudia Tenney, I think she was the congresswoman until 2018. She was ousted by this guy named Brindisi in a Democrat year, and of course 2020 was a Republican year in the House. It was a Republican year pretty much across the board, except for some problems, as you may recall. And so Tenney got the seat back, and she now has a 122 vote lead over Brindisi. She's won the election. All right. But Mark Elias, the Democrat lawyer from Perkins Coie, who helped set up the dodgy dossier, the dirty trick to get rid of Donald Trump in 2016, and the guy who was behind all of the lawsuits to enable mail-in voting, which of course was totally on the level. And if you suggest otherwise, you will be shunned in polite society, and your business will be put at risk, as being done to Mark Lindell at MyPillow. Guess who was representing Brindisi, the Democrat who lost the election to the Republican? Mark Elias. And he's claiming that there was fraudulent voting going on. In this case, there is reason to believe, he says, that voting tabulation machines misread hundreds, if not thousands, of valid votes as undervotes, and that these tabulation machine errors disproportionately affected Brindisi. Now, is he going to be disbarred? They're trying. The Democrats in Michigan are trying to disbar Republican lawyers who said the same thing about what happened in Detroit in Wayne County. And I think there were a lot more problems in Wayne County than there were in the 22nd upstate congressional district in New York. So as one National Review writer says, the next time you hear Mark Elias, that he actually has no objection whatsoever to these voter fraud theories or to tying up elections in court long after the outcome is obvious, so long as the people who are doing it are Democrats. 844-500-4242. Candace Owens just tweeted out, I'd like to remind everyone that I live in Washington, D.C., just a few blocks from the Capitol building. Long story short, Ted Cruz tried to murder me too. It's pretty good. Remember the mainstream media, very fake news, tried to say that President Trump had put little kids in cages down on the border, and they were using pictures, but the pictures were all from the Obama administration years. Yeah, do you remember that? So now the Biden administration is reinstating the catch and release policy so that they can allow more illegal aliens to come into the United States and destabilize society and go on welfare and commit crimes, et cetera, and become welfare dependent. And that means that catch and release, that a Texas sheriff in South Texas today announced that catch and release is back. That means you just catch them and then you let them go and they run to the welfare office. Detention centers are coming back, but they're not kids in cages anymore. They have a different name now because Joe Biden is president. The cages are being reopened, but we can't call them cages anymore. This is the way CNN puts it. The Biden administration is opening an overflow facility. That's the new word for kids in cages. It's an overflow facility for unaccompanied migrant children. That's also known as 14-year-old gangbangers from MS-13. The Health and Human Services Department will reopen a facility. How long has it been reopened? How long has it been closed? Since Trump became president? They're going to reopen a facility in Carrizo Springs, Texas that can hold about 700 children and be expanded if necessary. The reopening of the facility, again, this is CNN. CNN is running into some inconvenient truths here.
This is CNN.
Comes amid an increase in apprehensions of unaccompanied children on the border. Imagine that. Imagine that. 844-500-4242. Meanwhile, the other day, 11 Iranians were apprehended crossing the border in Arizona. 11 Iranians. Iran, you may recall, is about to become a nuclear power now that Joe Biden's in the White House. And they are the world's leading exponent of state-sponsored terrorism. So now you have 11 Iranians crossing over the border. What could possibly go wrong? And meanwhile, Joe Biden yesterday signed an executive order that will increase refugee resettlement in the United States by 960% this year, 960%. So last year under Trump, we had 12,000 refugees. And this is a group that includes, the Tsarnaevs, for instance. They're asylees, same thing. There will be 125,000 refugees coming in, and most of them go on welfare immediately. And when you go on welfare immediately upon coming into the country, guess what? The chances are you're not going to be leaving welfare anytime soon. In the fiscal year 2020, the Trump administration admitted less than 12,000 refugees. And what happened? And did you notice there were fewer terrorist attacks when Trump was president, and there were fewer quote unquote refugees coming in? So Breitbart is saying over the past 20 years, nearly 1 million refugees have been resettled in the country. And that would include the Sarnievs, among many others. I think it would also include the guy who shot up the Pulse nightclub or his parents. And there were many other attacks by asylees and refugees. Refugee resettlement costs the American taxpayers nearly $9 billion every 5 years, according to research. I think that's a real lowball estimate. Each refugee costs taxpayers over $133,000 over the course of their lifetime. Again, I think that's a real lowball number. Within 5 years, an estimated 16% of all refugees admitted will need housing assistance paid for by taxpayers. Isn't that nice? That is so compassionate of us. 617 says the new word is children's enclosures. Children's enclosures. Yes, that's so much more compassionate sounding than kids in cages. 844-500-4240. The reason that the mainstream media used the pictures from the Obama administration of kids in cages is there just weren't any of them during the Trump administration. So they had to make the larger point. It was a fake but accurate story, right? That's the way it works. Last summer, I had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but was reminded again of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too. We're in a climate right now where a lot of people don't want to go into the city for any number of reasons. Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire, right off the interstate highway. Parking is plentiful, parking is free. And I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols they've taken since the virus. Some of them actually make you feel more comfortable while they're Dr. Houghton and his great assistants, his dental hygienists, are working on your teeth. I'm serious about that. It really is a more pleasant experience than it used to be. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles. To see for yourself and get your perfect smile, call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile, change your life. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by J.T. Kelly, real estate broker at Keller Williams, who helped my daughter find a house. The 2021 housing market is already on fire. Contact him at
1-800-364-9200. Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. Cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
Oh, this is the one I need. Can you give me this one? Man. You've been hearing me talk about Super Beats for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beats? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beats are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beats. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
He regretted to his dying day, if ever he lives that long.
Howie Carr is back.
Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. For all your house odors, you need the Eden Pure air purifier. Go to EdenPure.com, and with code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90, and shipping is free. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Who's Joe Biden rooting for on Sunday? The Chicago Cardinals, the Houston Oilers, Dallas Texans, the Oakland Raiders, the San Diego Chargers, or the Boston Patriots?
We forgot one. The Decatur Staleys.
The who?
The Decatur Staleys. I think they were one of the original teams in the National Football League.
I'm sure there's probably about 30 or 40.
Maybe the Canton Bulldogs. There was a team in Canton, Ohio, too. That's why they have the Pro Football Hall of Fame there, I think. Was it the Canton Bulldogs? Something like that. But maybe that was even a little before Joe Biden's time, although he does remember watching FDR on the television when the market crashed. Even though there was no television and he wasn't the president, he was the governor of New York. Joe remembers it. So I'm gonna say Joe's gonna be pulling for the Chicago Cardinals.
Yeah, 44% say the Chicago Cards, 34% say the Boston Patriots.
All right, 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Before we go back to the phone, we're going to open up the lines here and take a lot of calls this hour and go over a bunch of different things, including the unemployment scams and the scams, people setting up fake businesses, which it's just amazing. Every day there's 2 or 3 more stories from around the country, millions stolen by these scammers. And they got one today. 6 family members received $7.4 million in pandemic loans by creating fake Ohio farms. We'll get to that. But first, I want to play a cut. President Trump is going to be tried in the Senate next week. Former President Trump. It's unconstitutional. It's preposterous. It's a moot point, as they say. But he's going to be tried for telling people to peacefully and patriotically protest the election returns. Peacefully and patriotically protest. So why don't we play some cuts of Democrats talking about violence and fighting like hell. Cut 26.
In the Senate, Democrats are going to fight like hell to make this a reality. Americans who took to the streets this week have demanded change. With this legislation, Democrats are heeding their calls.
I want the people of Pennsylvania, the people all across this country to know that we are going to fight like hell to protect your vote, to secure your vote, and to make sure that your vote is counted.
How confident are you that Kentuckians are going to have the ability to vote freely in November?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm confident that we're going to fight like hell to make sure they can.
We are going to fight like hell to make sure that everyone who wants to vote can exercise that right to vote.
This election is coming whether the president wants it or not, and we're going to fight like hell in Congress to make sure that the mail still works.
Today, Biden's VP Kamala Harris told supporters in a fundraising note that it is time to, quote, fight like hell to protect the Supreme Court following the passing of late Justice Ginsburg.
That legacy of rights needs to be continued. I'm going to fight like hell. Speaking for myself, I'm going to fight like hell.
Aaron, we're going to fight like hell.
The reforms, we're going to fight like hell to get those reforms in.
I know many other senators and members of the House will fight like hell to make sure that we act as soon as possible.
I just have one thing to say about the next 8 days. I'm going to fight like hell.
They need a president who'll go into the White House and will fight like hell to make sure they get the health care they need.
Mitch McConnell believes that this fight is over. What Mitch McConnell does not understand is this fight has just begun.
We're going to scalp them. That's the fake Indian, and she's on the warpath. Ha, 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 ha. Get it? Get it? She's on the warpath. 844-500-4242. Did you hear Dr. Fauci has now backed off his 2-mask mandate? If you don't like how many masks he wants you to wear, just wait in a couple hours and he'll come up with a new number. Let's have his evolution here. Cut 35.
People should not be walking around with masks.
You should wear the mask indoors.
There's nothing wrong with people wearing 2 masks. I often myself wear 2 masks.
Maybe I should put 2 masks on. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's no data that indicates that that is going to make a difference.
So we're back to 1 mask as of today, right? At this hour, Taylor, correct? We're back to 1 mask.
I'm not entirely sure. Does he feel more comfortable when he wears 2 masks? That's what he should have been asked. Does he still wear 2 masks, even though there's no data to support that it does anything?
Well, he said it would, but on Monday he said you should wear 2 masks. So now there's no data. So what happened to following the data? Did the data disappear from Monday when he said you should wear 2 masks? And what about last year when he said there was no reason to wear any masks? Jason, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Howie, great show as usual. I was just wondering what your opinion would be. I mean, when the trading on Wall Street, should we just limit it to the brilliant Nobel Prize-winning economists like the guys that ran long-term capital management? Because they did a wonderful job.
Well, what about Paul Krugman? He's a Nobel Prize-winning economist, is he not? And he predicted that when Trump was elected, there was going to be a depression and the stock market would never, ever come back. So there were Nobel Prize generally. That's like being an expert on COVID. You know, I mean, I roll my eyes when I hear Nobel Prize winner. Thanks for the call, Jason. I'm Bill Clinton. I'm going to fight like hell to get me a new intern as good as Monica Lewinsky or the Energizer Bunny. Lee, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Lee.
Howie, this unemployment scam is nationwide. You know that, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to read about that. Did you get a bill for unemployment you didn't receive?
No, I went on unemployment. And it was pretty hairy. It took me a while, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to send in tons of extra forms. I got laid off, Howie, you know, that's the way it goes. And it took, 5-6 weeks before I got my first check. But when I went online to check, I mean, some of these people were saying that they were waited 22 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, that's bad, but it's even worse when you didn't file for unemployment and you get a bill for owing taxes for the unemployment that you didn't receive because somebody stole your identity. I mean, this is a huge problem. I'll be talking about this, in the next segment. I'll read you some stuff that's going on here. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
The
Kathy Ireland Gem Spa was one of the hottest selling gifts this holiday season. This Valentine's Day, give a gift that will provide a lifetime of sparkling clean jewelry. I use mine every week and my jewelry looks amazing. I had no idea how dirty my jewelry was until I started cleaning it with the Gem Spa. I bought one for my mom and for my aunts. Join the clean jewelry revolution. Get yours now. Go to mygemspa.com, use promo code GRACE and save 20%. That's mygemspa.com, promo code GRACE and save 20%.
Nauset Beach Inn is open for the first time this winter. Take advantage of their ocean view room rate of only $100. All rooms have 2 queen beds and they're pet friendly too. Nauset Beach Inn is the only hotel on the Cape Cod National Seashore. Contact-free check-in and check-out. Don't hesitate. These rooms go fast. Reserve now at nausetbeachinn.com. That's nausetbeachinn.com.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say? The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean.
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of...
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can also see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. Little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. So people all over the country now are getting these forms, income tax forms, and they're called 1099-G. 1099-G. I guess that's what you get if you got unemployment. You have to pay income taxes on unemployment benefits. Which, that can be tough if you're still unemployed, and you're living in the Massachusetts or one of these other states that has been devastated by liberal insanity. But it's even worse if you didn't get any unemployment benefits. Then somebody in the countries that are being listed are Russia, Nigeria, and Hong Kong. You're not surprised, right? And of course, most of the scamming is in the United States. But here's a story. An 85-year-old retiree from Boulder, Colorado, was upset and unnerved by a notice she received in the mail last week. It was a government form stating that she had received $2,322 in unemployment compensation last year. She is unfortunately part of a massive group of Americans whose identities were hijacked in 2020 by criminals filing fake claims for unemployment. The USA Today is estimating that up to $36 billion in phony unemployment claims were paid to fraudsters as part of the 2020 panic. Sham applications were in all 50 states. That's to be expected, right? So this woman in Boulder, Colorado, she called the cops. And the cops, the officer said that he too had been sent a fraudulent 1099-G income tax form and was dealing with the same rigmarole that she was. So 201 says, "I bet unemployment checks were sent to Nigerian princes." I'm sure they were. It's and again, this is what happened. But then there was the whole other thing here. I mean, the unemployment checks, they added up, obviously, to $36 billion, but they were like in small increments. These ripoffs for the pandemic relief loans for businesses, I mean, these got into the hundreds of thousands of dollars or the millions of dollars very, very quickly. This is from Ohio, Cleveland. A federal affidavit alleges 6 family members fraudulently obtained $7.4 million in pandemic relief loans by creating dozens of fake Northeast farming businesses. 2 of the 6 family members, Aidan Kalantarov and Gunai Kalantarli, were arrested in California. And they also involved in the scheme were Zaire Kalantarli, Niger Kalantari, Ali Kalantarli, Candy Rodriguez, and Aidan Kalantarov. They did knowingly and intentionally conspire to defraud the Small Business Administration. They created these phony businesses. This is going on all over the place. If somebody ever went into a restaurant, they'll invent a restaurant or 3 restaurants and say, I know a guy that invented 3 restaurants, and he was the first guy arrested in the country. I just happened to know him. He used to work at a radio station. I'm still on, as a matter of fact. But so the Kalantarlis registered dozens of agriculture-themed businesses at 3 Northeast Ohio residential homes last spring. Here were some of the businesses they registered. Fresh Ohio berries, Ohio natural beets, organic Ohio broccoli. The Kalantarlis doesn't say where they're from. They live in the U.S. now, but doesn't say where they come from. Then they could be refugees, Taylor. Come on. They could have been, Jen Psaki said yesterday, it's really strengthening the U.S. economy to bring in all these people and put them on welfare. It's great for the economy. That was today she said this? Okay.
Yes.
We'll play that cut in a moment. The affidavit said the Colin Tarley family then applied for and received 53 pandemic relief loans totaling $7,447,400. That's just one. There's you can go online and read these things every day. So we're letting in more illegal aliens. They're setting the cages back up on the southern border. They're letting Iranians come into the country willy-nilly to do whatever the hell Iranians do. And then they're letting in more refugees. And Jen Psaki says it's going to be wonderful, wonderful for the country. There it is.
Given the most recent job numbers and the continued unemployment and what you had to say today about particularly how minority communities have been affected, is this the right time to increase the number of refugees coming into the country and to also ease immigration and border restrictions?
Well, the president fundamentally believes that having a humane and moral immigration system in place strengthens our country, strengthens our economy, and many business leaders across the country have said exactly the same thing.
Yeah, the ones who like to pay illegal aliens under the table and let the taxpayers pick up all the societal benefits, the catastrophic societal benefits from importing an underclass that does not wish to assimilate. A humane and moral immigration system. How about a humane and moral immigration system for the citizens of the United States, the taxpayers, and not to mention the non-citizens who have immigrated to the country legally? Why should the people who came into the country as scofflaws and criminals with no skills and no desire to work, why should they be handed the keys to the kingdom, so to speak? 844-500-4242, 413, talking about the fraud in the unemployment and the pandemic relief business accounts. The system set aside all safeguards to pay people as quickly as possible. It was just ripe for fraud. No notices sent to employers. Pay everybody was the philosophy. Yeah, that's it. 781, refugee status is like welfare on steroids. So many federal benefits with no strings attached. Yeah, I mean, you really should, if you haven't ever read about the Tsarnaevs coming over here. They came over here on a visa, on a visitor's visa. And then they said they were seeking asylum. They were seeking asylum from work, basically. So they bring in the whole family. Nobody in the family ever gets a job. They're just scamming the system. They're getting everything. They had a rent-free Section 8 apartment in Cambridge, which is mostly a very nice place to live. I mean, there's not a lot of slums in Cambridge, but they were put right up there. They were radicalized. They used their welfare benefits to buy the terrorist materials they needed to kill Americans, and that was it. Tsarnaev, the younger brother, he's in there for killing 5 Americans. The older brother that he ran over when he was trying to escape, he killed 9 Americans. 9 Americans before he was 25. This was a big refugee success story for the deep state. 844-500-4242. We can take some calls here. Let's take some calls here as we go through it. Tom Cotton was talking about how they're going after Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's a crazy woman from Georgia. But is she any worse than? And she shouldn't have said the things she said. But the difference is, she had to pay a price. She was thrown off all of her committees. The Democrats, who make equally, if not more, outrageous statements. There's a Democrat in the House who is called Jews termites, and nothing's happened to him. Nothing's happened to him. Let's play cut 20. This is Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas. Cut 20.
I mean, remember, it was a Bernie Sanders it was a Bernie Sanders supporter who showed up in Alexandria, Virginia, and shot Steve Scalise and almost killed him and tried to commit mass murder against congressional Republicans, and would have done so if it hadn't been for the bravery and quick action of Capitol police officers who were there at that ballpark. When it was discovered that that was a Bernie Sanders supporter, it was out of the news within 24 hours, not something that can be discussed.
James Hodgkinson. Most people don't even know his name. Just like they don't know the name of Ashley Babbitt, who was the Trump supporter who was gunned down by a Capitol police officer who they won't identify. They won't even discipline him. He killed an unarmed Trump supporter. That was okay. I guess it's okay. Cut 21, Tom Cotton.
Well, look at Maxine Waters. I mean, she basically called for mobs to rally around Trump officials if they were at a restaurant, at a grocery store, at a gas station. And yet she's still the chair of a powerful committee in the House of Representatives. These are not just marginal figures in the Democratic Party. These are the leadership of the Democratic Party.
Keep going. I like this. Keep going, Senator Cotton. Cut 22.
Plenty of Democrats that do and say outlandish things too. I mean, Ilhan Omar has made multiple anti-Semitic statements. Maxine Waters urged mobs to attack Trump administration officials. Eric Swalwell cavorted with a Chinese spy. Chuck Schumer threatened 2 Supreme Court justices if they didn't rule the way he wanted. I don't see MSNBC and CNN and the liberal media calling them out for it.
Yeah, and I don't see anybody trying to disbar Mark Elias for saying there was voter fraud in the Republican district, 22nd congressional district in New York State that was won by a Republican by 122 votes. So it's okay for a Democrat to allege voter irregularities. It's just terrible. It's almost a crime. You could be thrown out of Congress. You could be tried in the Senate for alleging voter fraud if you're a Republican, right? Do we have a dual standard here? Are they trying to break our will, to coin a phrase? We'll take some calls here in a moment, 844-500-4242. The Biden administration's policies and executive orders are already causing some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. That's for sure. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity that you built up over years or decades in the real estate market. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years. Because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission, but in an auction, the buyer pays. These are treacherous times in the real estate market. Some sectors are way up, like residential in the burbs. Some sectors are down more than somewhat, like commercial real estate, retail property. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast at the highest prices available, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you can be the next one. Call them today at 800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com and get your property sold fast. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie will be right back after a quick trip to the Redemption Center.
This Valentine's, get the gift that's going to wow at 1-800-Flowers. Right now, you can get the 18-stem Enchanted Rose Medley for $39.99 or double the roses for $20 more. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code Howie.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I may not make it through this story. And I told a story about a fisherman that I met in New Bedford. He's coming off the boat. He's a big, huge man, completely soaked in sweat and salt water.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he started to cry, and I gave him a hug. He was a big, huge guy. It was like hugging a mountain. And then he said, "See those 2 kids up there?" And he said, "Those are my sons." They were both spectacular football players at New Bedford High School who were given college scholarships, and I ruined their lives. And you hear those kinds of stories, every day.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
Here's another
Your
one
teachers
to
who
print,
touch them,
McKay. Thank you.
Figuratively speaking. Well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts, I get in trouble some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. So Charlie Parker's administration in Massachusetts wants to break the will of the people to resist higher taxes, and because we have to fight global warming. Yet I see this headline on the New York Post. It's the lead story in the New York Post. Polar vortex flash freeze may plunge U.S. temps to shocking lows. Huh. Go figure. But that's just weather, weather. The people in the Parker administration are dealing with climate. And that means higher taxes. Because if we can just raise taxes even higher and give more jobs to hacks who don't do anything, then we'll be saved from global warming. Although we could use a little global warming right about now, couldn't we? Janet, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Janet.
Howie, I don't know where to begin. I've been listening to you forever and ever. We have friends in common. You don't know me, I'm sure. But I am a very frustrated elderly person. I owned and operated restaurants. I started working in Boston in 1968 at a very fancy restaurant in Boston that you would know. I've waited on people from Whitey Bulger all the way to Judy Garland. I met them all, seen them all.
Was Whitey a good tipper? Janet, was Whitey a good tipper?
Well, no, you know what he would say? Every time he came in, he'd be waiting for his girlfriend on a Friday night, and he'd be sitting at the table. I'd go over and he'd say, I was in
Alcatraz.
Oh, God. Alcatraz. And I said,
how did I know that?
Yeah. And I said, oh, yeah, you're the guy. I always forget. And the next week, he'd come in and sit at the piano bar, and he'd say, I was in Alcatraz before even. I said, well, yeah.
It's kind of like that. That was his. That was his version of AOC saying Ted Cruz tried to murder me. Right? He was like a broken record. Like she's a broken record.
He loved it. And you know what, Howie? The world is full of phonies. And the luckiest thing my husband and I decided the other night was when we walked into that restaurant in 1967. He got a job as a busboy, and I got a job as a cocktail waitress. Was the best thing that ever happened to us in our lives, because we learned that nothing is on the up and up. Nothing. And with these checks that have been going out,
Now that you mention it, Janet, I worked in a dining room and then in a bar, and I learned the same lesson. That is one of the great lessons of the hospitality industry, is learning that nothing is on the level. Thanks for the call, Janet. Sheila, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Sheila.
Hi, I just wanted to check in because I'm a past business owner since 1991. And when the government assistance came up, I was one of the first to try to apply. I went through hoops, everything to supply them with my taxes, going back a good 5-6 years. I even submitted. I gave everything and anything that they could have asked for. And they continued to need more information, and still to this day have never approved me. At one point in time, they actually said I was denied. I was trying to appeal it and trying to get clarification on why.
I've talked to other people, Sheila, who've been through this, and I think a lot, what I was told, depended on what bank you had. Some banks had more ins. Once again, nothing was on the level. But if you were at the right bank, you could get money very quickly. Or maybe you should have presented one of these fraudulent applications like the Ohio organic berries, Maybe you would have done better.
It's so upsetting. Right, exactly. All I've done is pay taxes, do everything I'm supposed to do, and finally had needed some help. I'm still alive. I'm still open, on a limited basis, definitely. But I had just taken a second location, and I just couldn't believe that I was still, I was just very disappointed. I really thought that, wow, we're going to get some help and assistance.
I know. And it's just amazing, the number of scammers. There was a guy that played on the Jets. He was grabbing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he was spending it in a casino down here in Florida. And I mean, that's just one. I mean, and again, the guy I know that was claiming he ran these restaurants that didn't exist, and then they let him go, even though he was an ex-con. And they put him on an ankle bracelet, and he cut off the ankle bracelet, claimed he'd committed suicide, and then ran away. And it took him 2 months to run him down. I mean, it was like blowing a dog whistle for every scammer, not in the country, in the world. Every scammer in the world heard the dog whistle and said, this is a way to rip off the government, whether it's the unemployment benefits or the fake loans to businesses. And it's just, is anything ever going to be, is any of this money ever going to be recovered? I mean,
Didn't Tom Brady take part in the PPP program?
He did, but I mean, he had a business, though. Taylor.
Did he really need to take part in the PPP program? Come on.
No, he didn't. But at least he's not a scammer like a lot of these people. I mean, again, there's the old saying from Tammany Hall: there's honest graft and there's dishonest graft. For Tom Brady, it was honest graft. I'm Howie Carr. Great news. The Gen 40 heater is back and just in time for the really cold weather. Oil prices are going to go up. The Keystone XL pipeline has been stopped. 35 million gallons of oil a day are gone. Now there is a new moratorium on fracking on federal land. That affects natural gas. It was 10 degrees in parts of New England this past weekend. You need to start planning, and that means you need a Gen 40 heater. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 performs like no heater I've ever used. It is remarkable. The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working from home now, and you will need to pay close attention to your heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieDeal to get $50 off the sale price. That's EdenPure.com and use code word HowieDeal for an extra $50 off. These heaters are in high demand, so go right now to EdenPure.com.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not alive. You say he lives on. Not alive. I know. I keep doing that.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president of the next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall. Anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's crisp.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beats for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beats? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beats are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beats. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So of course he's obsessed with me.
He's the gaffe that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
Your teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts, I get in trouble with some of the things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, for me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I got a text message the other day from a friend of mine who is no fan of most of what I've done over the course of the past 10 months.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power, and the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he was texting me from the hospital during a moment when he wasn't on a machine. And he got it at an event where no one wore masks. And he said, now that I have it, I get how brutal this can be.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow the science world, but it's the only world they know.
And honestly, I'm scared to death, not just for me, but for my family.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Everyone has said things they wish they didn't say. Everyone has done things they wish they didn't do. So who's next? Who will the cancel culture attack next?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I was in the chamber, unlike AOC, that faked her outrage with another hoax.
My brain was able to have so many thoughts in that moment.
You not only have great intellectual capacity, you have great personal courage. I've been with some of you when we've been shot at.
No way. I'm not buying it.
I lived a situation like that. And it doesn't have to be real, the threat, for you to believe it's imminent.
You
and
believe.
real.
Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And again, I hope you're going to follow the hectoring, lecturing, the advice, counsels, and urgings of Charlie Parker as they ring in your ears telling you, don't have any fun on Sunday. It will not be tolerated. We must break your will to have fun. Don't enjoy the Super Bowl.
Is there a waiting period on cocktail shrimp?
Yeah, there should. You know what? There should be. I meant to throw that into I should have thrown that into my column today. I said that, they should ban chicken wings, a 7-day waiting period for avocados, make corn chips as difficult to buy in the Commonwealth as menthol cigarettes. But you're right. Cocktail shrimp can be abused too. And when you eat a cocktail shrimp, be sure not to take off your mask. It can get a little sloppy, but it's important to ward off the virus. Remember that. 844-500-4242. Time now for the Chump Line.
I heard Hunter's new book's going to be 90% about him and 10% about the big guy.
We got mixed messages in those emails on his laptop. In the email to his daughter, he said he had to kick back 50% to the big guy. And then when they were setting up one of these Chinese money laundering corporations, or that's certainly what it appeared to be on the laptop email, he only was holding 10% for the big guy. So I don't know. Maybe it just depends on how big the grift is, how big the racket that they're running is.
Did you see Jen Psaki took a Hunter Biden question today?
Did she really? Let me hear it.
He said, quote, my son, my family will not be involved in any business, any enterprise that is in conflict with or appears to be in conflict with where there's appropriate distance from the presidency and government. Just recently, there were reports that the president's son still owns a 10% stake in a Chinese investment firm formed with state-owned entities. Do you have an update on the divestment from that investment?
He has been working to unwind his investment, but I would certainly point you, he's a private citizen. I would point you to him or his lawyers on the outside.
Working to unwind. Let me translate that for you. He's writing letters to his Chinese paymaster saying, "Where's my $200 million?" That's what the New York Post reported last week that he's looking at is $200 million from quote unquote unwinding his Chinese investment. Taylor, it sounds like there were a couple of legitimate journalistic questions today for Jen Psaki. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We can get into those after the Chump Line.
Is that right? So it must be that everybody was taking a long weekend for the Super Bowl, all the regular sycophants and bum kissers.
And they took the real questions today because they knew they wouldn't get many legs on those stories.
Right. It's a semi-holiday weekend with the Super Bowl coming up and all the cold and the snow and everything.
Possibly a snow day, yeah.
Right. All right. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week announcing the relaunching of our wicked awesome website. It's faster, it's leaner, it's even younger looking, kind of like the Howie Carr of websites. In fact, there's even a rarely seen inspirational video of Howie getting the Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm glad I'm not getting the Ice Bucket Challenge today in the polar vortex.
AOC, that woman is so sleazy. Her lying comes easily. AOC, can't you see that she's crazy?
Someone texted me and said on CBS, as in SEEBS, morning news, they had AOC on with Gayle King, and there was no pushback whatsoever. She was just making it sound like...
Didn't Gayle King learn her lesson with Jussie Smollett? Come on. How many times are you going to fall for this?
Well, at least twice, because she fell for it again this morning, according to people who saw it.
Who would have thought that Michael Dukakis would have been the good old days?
I never would have, I'll tell you that. How about Deval Patrick being the good old days? The guy who described the Tsarnaev brothers as those nice young men, and we couldn't speculate as to what made the nice young Muslim men terrorists blow up the Boston Marathon. But he seems like the good old days too, doesn't he?
I hold in my hand the last envelope. Columbus, Magellan, Cortez. Name 2 explorers from Europe and an idiot from New York. Hey-oh!
You could see that coming a mile away, but I like the Karnak the Magnificent jokes. Keep them coming.
Well, that $2 gas price was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. Speaking of nostalgia. Yeah. I hope, though, all the Biden voters, the ones who really voted for Biden, not the people that were 150 years old in Michigan, I hope you're happy now.
They don't want to crush the will of the middle class. They want to crush the middle class.
That too. We'll get back to that in the next hour. Do we have anybody coming on in the next hour to talk about this?
We surely do.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
So Joe Biden said we won't have full employment in the U.S. until 2025. I guess Trump is running again.
That's a good one too. Excellent. I give that an A+.
To say the election was stolen is a false narrative. The left must push this lie. To them, it's imperative. They know it's BS, and we know it's BS. But TDS leaves them with no alternative.
No, it doesn't. But again, it's okay for Democrats to say Republicans stole close elections. It's just a cancelable offense. Your livelihood will be destroyed. Your reputation will be tarnished. If there's a statue of you, not only will the statue be taken down, but it will be melted and ground up and thrown back into the mines from which it came if you ever suggested a Democrat stole the election.
The landmines?
The land, no, in a real mine, not a landmine. I'm not. What do I look like, Kamala Harris?
60% of our harmful emissions come from Charlie Baker's mouth.
It sure seems that way. It's going to be a cold weekend. I wonder how this guy Ismay is going to be heating his $1.3 million home in Chestnut Hill. I wonder how he's going to get any groceries. Is he going to walk to the Star Market on Beacon Street? Is that the nearest supermarket? It's kind of a nippy walk, isn't it?
Howie, Joe Biden calling. Come on, man. I'm so excited for Super Bowl Saturday. The Baltimore Colts are playing the Cleveland Rams, and Buddy Holly's doing the halftime show. Oh, and I just found out Hunter's making the refreshments. Somebody just dropped off a big bag of confectioner sugar for him. I mean it.
That's one team we forgot. I knew we forgotten some, Taylor. The Baltimore Colts.
Like I said, there's probably 25 to 30 teams that we could have added.
The Baltimore Colts are now the Indianapolis Colts, and the Baltimore Ravens, didn't they used to be the Cleveland Browns, and then the Cleveland Browns were replaced by an expansion team, I believe.
I'm only so old, I can't remember all those.
I can't remember the Chicago Cardinals, but I've read about them.
Hey, Howie, John Kerry says we need to recycle. Looking at the Biden administration, I'm thinking they got recycling down pat.
Yes, they do. And they're recycling products that didn't sell very well in the first place.
Hi, Howie. Governor Patrick calling. You know, I don't blame Trump for leaving the acting union. After all, they let you in for a civil action. You were so hideous in that movie that the director replaced your close-ups with footage of a flipping pen. We're going to be fine.
They were impressed with that. They love that. That was improvised. That's what they do in major Hollywood productions. That guy who put me flipping the pen in, he was an Academy Award winner. Not just some stupid award-winning reporter, and every reporter in America is an award-winning reporter. Just ask him. This guy actually won an award, Academy Award for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And he was so impressed by my expertise in flipping a pen that he put it in as a close-up shot in the movie. That could be my Hollywood highlight. When am I getting my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
Did anyone ask Jen Psaki yet about her homophobic slur against Senator Lindsey Graham? Did that come up today at the press? Okay. Well, you can only expect so much. They asked about Hunter Biden, so can't expect any miracles, I guess. That's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message anytime between the hours of 1 and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on weekdays. Call 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. If you didn't hear your message or you want to hear more Chump Line messages, we have another whole Chump Line. It's called Chopped Chumps, the messages that didn't make the Chump Line you just heard. It's posted every night, weeknight, around 7 o'clock. Get Chopped Chumps wherever you get your Howie Carr Show podcast. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. This week announcing the relaunching of our wicked awesome website. It's faster, it's leaner, it's even younger looking, kind of like the Howie Carr websites. In fact, there's even a rarely seen inspirational video of Howie getting the Ice Bucket Challenge.
So Joe Biden said we won't have full employment in the U.S. until 2025. I guess Trump is running again.
There's a great story in the New York Times today. Why aren't liberals better at getting out the vaccinations? Oh, they're baffled. We'll be right back. I'm Howie Carr.
They call him the trash man, but we'll call him Captain Howie Carr.
As this year of COVID draws to a close.
Yeah, Howie, if you want to do the Saki cuts, there's some good ones there. You should get some super softball questions, but the really good one runs about 1:22. And
where is that one?
After she answers her question, she answers a question, takes a long time to answer it, about teachers not wanting to go back to schools and Biden urging them to go back. The reporter says, so that sounds like a yes with an asterisk.
Oh, I see it.
Says,
okay.
Well, you're not the White House press person, so you can't say that.
Kevin is a true fiduciary. That means by law, he's always working in your best interest. And be sure and catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for a market review and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams. Call Kevin Frisbee today, 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate, candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing. Why does AOC
the cut about Jill Biden saying we owe it to our dogs?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her. That was kind of sharp. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, Mother Earth.
Oh, here it is. I got it. I see it.
She's
Okay.
telling
I see
us.
it. It's there.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs. Civilization as we know it is at stake. I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody, anytime.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie. I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
Tanny says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes. We're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second? Control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first lady that way. We aren't all here to make salads for men. It's disgusting. I mean, I'm presuming he was talking about Karen Pence when he said second lady. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Not Montana. I'm talking about no, never mind.
Yeah, no,
Ignore me.
I mean, that's Republicans could add to that.
I was getting Montana and North Dakota confused because, I don't know, I just was.
He didn't come here to be made sport of.
Funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Howie Carr is here to stay.
Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. For all your house odors, you need the Eden Pure air purifier. Go to EdenPure.com and with code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90 and shipping is free. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Who is Joe Biden rooting for on Sunday? The Chicago Cardinals, Houston Oilers, Dallas Texans, Oakland Raiders, San Diego Chargers, or the Boston Patriots?
I'm going to say he's rooting for the Chicago Cardinals.
Well, the Boston Patriots are creeping up on them. 37% for them, 42% for the Chicago Cardinals.
Joe's kind of perplexed, though, by the way they kick field goals and extra points now. You know, they don't come straight up like his heroes, George Blanda and Lou Groza and Gino Cappelletti. All right. 844-500-4242. Before we go to the Jen Psaki thing, let's play Jill Biden. Dr. Jill Biden has come up with her prescription for why we should keep wearing either 0 mask, 1 mask, 2 masks, or optionally 2 masks, depending on which sound cut of St. Anthony Fauci's you want to listen to. Cut 41.
Hi there. I'm Jill Biden here at the White House with our 2 dogs, Champ and Major. For a lot of us during this pandemic, our pets have been such a source of joy and comfort. And maybe a bark or 2 on a video conference. The unconditional love from a dog is one of the most beautiful things on earth, and we owe it to them to keep ourselves healthy. So please keep wearing your masks, even when you're out walking your dog. Right, guys?
I didn't know she was a doctor of veterinary medicine.
Pardon me for laughing in your face, Dr. Jill. Even when you're out walking your dog. Yeah. That's the ticket. So anyway, Psaki is talking about who's more important, teachers or students. A reporter actually asked this question, a decent question. And so it took her almost a minute and a half to answer the question. Cut 12.
Will President Biden use the power of the bully pulpit to help cajole teachers who are unwilling to go back to schools to go back?
Well, one, I'm just going to reject the premise of the question. I will say I have teachers in my family, as I'm sure many of you do. They are the first people to tell you that teaching in the classroom and being able to engage with kids in the classroom or middle schoolers or high schoolers in the classroom, it makes their job more enjoyable, makes them more effective at what they do. The president is absolutely committed to reopening schools. He wants them not just to reopen, but to stay open. And he wants to do that in a safe way. And we're going to rely on CDC
that means
guidance,
no.
Which again is not officially out yet, to determine the best way to do it. But there are several mitigating factors that we've seen in data to date
contributions
that will help make it
to
safe.
the Democrats.
Of course,
that's
vaccines are part
factor.
of that, but so is masking, so is social distancing, so is ensuring that schools have the ventilation and the facilities that they need in order to do it safely. That's our focus. So the president's focus is on, and that's one of the reasons why he's out advocating for the American Rescue Plan. Part of that is funding so that schools can do exactly that.
That sounded like a yes with an asterisk.
If you are the spokesperson for the White House, you could certainly say that, but you are not.
I don't think she's going to make it to Thanksgiving. Sean Spicer didn't make it all that long, did he? And he was better than Jen Psaki, that's for sure. 844-500-4242. Let's see here. How about Charlie Parker inventing a new language? It's a dialect, I think you could call it. But listen to what he says. Cut 6.
Animated videos will play on TV and social media platforms in 10 different languages: English, Spanish, Portuguese, Cape Verdean, Haitian Creole, Vietnamese, Russian, Arabic, Albanian, and both traditional and simplified Chinese.
Cape Verdean is a dialect of...
Well, it's not Cape Verdean, it's Creole.
Yeah.
It's Portuguese Creole.
Yeah, but it's Portuguese is what it is. It's, why, by the way, why isn't it playing in Gaelic? Not that, that I have a chip on my shoulder or anything, but what about my people? Why can't they hear it in their native tongue? They came over here many, many generations ago. My grandmother spoke Gaelic, apparently. I don't know. 844-500-4242. Let's have Rashida Tlaib. Do we have time for Rashida Tlaib? She wasn't there. Cut 23.
We don't have time.
We don't have time. I'll tell you what she said. She said, thank Allah I wasn't here on January 6th. Okay, we will. I'm Howie Carr.
The Kathy Ireland Gem Spa was one of the hottest selling gifts this holiday season. This Valentine's Day, give a gift that will provide a lifetime of sparkling clean jewelry. I use mine every week and my jewelry looks amazing. I had no idea how dirty my jewelry was until I started cleaning it with the Gem Spa. I bought one for my mom and for my aunts. Join the clean jewelry revolution. Get yours now. Go to mygemspa.com, use promo code GRACE and save 20%. That's mygemspa.com, promo code GRACE and save 20%.
Alexander Hamilton said, "Those who stand for nothing will fall for anything." This is Toby from Cape Gunworks. When our founding fathers drafted the Second Amendment, there was no question of its meaning. Today, if you have questions, come to Cape Gunworks for some advice, training, or to send a few rounds downrange. We have a fully stocked pro shop with a huge selection of guns, crossbows, archery, classes, rentals, a 15-lane range, and a friendly staff. Come on down to Cape Gunworks, Airport Road, Hyannis, or capegunworks.com.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Chocolate candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here.
Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs.
Civilization as we know it is at stake.
I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody, anytime.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists. Credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white.
Aging, angry white guys. Angry white man.
Angry white old men.
These angry white men.
The angry white vote.
All these angry white people.
Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's insult.
They tolerate a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist.
The credulous boomer rube demo.
Y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling. Even though my
math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
They're too far gone.
Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at in the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
Here's 1 minute of CNN's Don Lemon.
What do you say to those Trump voters who prioritize the economy over the president's bigotry? I have a big announcement, and it's somewhere on my body. Because the biggest purveyor of fake news is the president in this country, because he does it a lot. I'm just going to speak from the heart here. What we have witnessed was a total eclipse of the fact.
If you thought I went hard in 2019, watch 2020, baby. There's more to come. I'm a soldier. I'm ready to fight.
Talking about the cost of this parade and where there would be tanks, right? And would there be nuclear weapons? Americans, are you mad as hell? I wouldn't normally address this. As a journalist, I don't really like being the story here. Kanye West, entitled to his own opinion, but is not very bright and not very, when it comes to talking about this issue, not overall. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. It's that time of the week. It's the third hour, at the bottom of the hour on Friday afternoon. You know what that means.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action.
Police Blotter Facts Friday. Every week at this time, we read you the funniest police stories of the week that come across the transom to us. You can send your funny items or stories from your local daily or weekly paper or the internet increasingly to grace@howiecarrshow.com, grace@howiecarrshow.com, or you can still fax them to us at 857-284-8864, 857-284-8864. They can come from the police log or the police blotter, which the police departments themselves write oftentimes for the weekly local newspapers, or they could just come from anywhere. And at this time, each Friday, we read the best entries of the week, and the two best entries of the week get a nice prize. Grace is off today, so Taylor will be filling in, reading the stories. What do the winners receive this week, Taylor?
They'll get a copy of your book, Howie, What Really Happened, How Donald Trump Saved the Election from Hillary Clinton.
All right.
Are you ready for some stories?
I'm ready for some runners-up. We'll have the winners in a little while, but these are the runners-up. These don't win what really happened.
But they win our respect. Man with Florida tattoo on face calls 911 for ride home. This is a quintessential Florida man story. A man with a Florida tattoo. He had the shape of the state of Florida tattooed between his eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice job of tattooing, if you want it, because the peninsula came right down onto the bridge of his nose.
Yep, and the panhandle was on his forehead. He's been arrested for calling 911 twice to get a ride home. Matthew Leatham, 22 years old, dialed 911 to request a ride home after 4 a.m. in the Newport Richey suburb of Tampa.
He was drunk, okay? Did you want him to drive his own car and kill somebody?
He's a good boy, a very good boy.
He was not drunk. Pasco County deputy found Leatham and offered him to call a cab, but said he didn't have any money. Leatham then began walking in the direction he lives and again called 911 for a ride. Officer caught up to him again and arrested him as he was on the line. Authorities say the officer searched Leatham and found marijuana.
Yeah, I dare say very few people smoke marijuana, Taylor, in case you didn't know that.
I know that, not from experience.
You read that somewhere.
Yeah. Texas Department apologizes for Chucky Amber Alert. An Amber Alert sent to Texans last week warned that a child had been abducted by Chucky, a 28-year-old male with a red or auburn hair and blue eyes who stands 3 feet 1 inch tall. His race was given as, quote, other doll. Are you familiar with Chucky, Howie?
It's some horror movie, right?
Correct. The alert, which was sent by email on Friday, warned of a 16-pound suspect wearing blue denim overalls and wielding a huge kitchen knife. It included an image of Chucky, the killer doll introduced in the 1988 slasher Child's Play. The Texas Department of Public Safety has since apologized, saying in a statement that the alert was sent as result of a test malfunction.
This sounds
what
like
what that means is some wise guy thought it would be funny to press the big red button on that alert, even though he wasn't supposed to.
That's the kind of clownish incompetence you generally associate with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts rather than the Lone Star State of Texas.
I covered a story. I couldn't find it. I tried looking for it, but I covered a story where that happened in New Bedford a few years ago. I think it was the police that sent out a fake alert. Woman charged with leading Rhode Island police on a low-speed chase in a stolen Boston Fire Department pickup truck. This happened yesterday, right?
Yes.
A Quincy woman allegedly stole a Boston Fire Department pickup truck from the Moon Island Fire Academy yesterday and then drove it some 60 miles into Rhode Island where she led police on a low-speed chase.
You mean nobody in Massachusetts noticed that the truck was stolen? She had to cross the border to get the attention of the local constabulary?
I'm not sure anybody was around at the time. It was 6:38 p.m. It was a training academy, so you'd imagine Thursday after 5, 6 o'clock, not too many people are hanging around. Motorists alerted police in Coventry about the red and white pickup truck traveling on Route 3 on one of the vehicle's rims. When Coventry police tried to pull the pickup truck over, the driver continued to drive the truck at a low rate of speed into the town of Warwick and through several neighboring communities before it came to a stop in the town of East Greenwich.
You ever notice how many stolen cars end up running on the rims of the wheels? Why do the tires always go flat on a stolen vehicle?
Yeah, she must have been going pretty fast first to wear out one of those tires and blow it out before she started driving slowly. The driver, Alina Dunham, 20 years old of Quincy, was taken into custody, faces a number of charges. The pickup truck was allegedly stolen from the firefighting academy in Quincy Thursday. Police said alcohol did not appear to be involved in the incident.
I'm not buying any of this stuff. 617 just texted me, just called the Massachusetts COVID call center. Closed. Call Monday. Unless, of course, there's a snow day, which is very likely.
Aren't all these people working from home? This call center?
I don't know. I don't know. This rollout is a total disaster in every blue state, and that's certainly Massachusetts.
I would imagine they're working from home because the indoor regulations on gatherings is 10 people. I think a call center, you'd have to have more than 10 people staffing it, right?
But you could have 25 people outdoors if you want to get together in a snowstorm.
Do they have outdoor seating at one of these restaurants in the North End?
It's the part of the Street Smart initiative. It's so much fun to be out and having a meal outside when there's a blizzard going on.
By the way, Police Blotter Facts Friday is brought to you, as it is every Friday, by Pianadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years in baking excellence since 1916. And if you're, preparing some appetizers for some sort of peaceful protest on Sunday at your home between the hours of 6 and 11 p.m., you might want to pick up some Pianadosi bread, some rolls or whatever, make some nice finger sandwiches, whatever. Police say a suspect intentionally crashed into Attleboro store, drove around inside. We got a lot of local stories this week. Police say a man smashed a car into the Hobby Lobby in South Attleboro.
Was this a political hate crime? The Hobby Lobby? I mean, isn't that
sounds like it?
But I mean, the guy, you wouldn't think that someone who's that crazy would even know the background of the Hobby Lobby.
Police say a man smashed a car into the Hobby Lobby, knocked over displays as he drove around inside, then fled the scene only to be stopped by officers about a mile away. The suspect, identified as Rick Woodruff, 36, who's from Somerville, but has no permanent address, allegedly this is a Bernie bro, allegedly drove intentionally into the Bristol Plaza store just before 5 a.m. His occupation was listed as couch surfer. A stunned worker who was spreading salt saw the car spinning around in the center of the parking lot before it accelerated straight for the building. The witness told police the car struck the front door, backed up, and then plowed into the store. Suspect drove inside the store, then fled on Newport Avenue. The officer said it reminded him of that scene in Blues Brothers where they're driving through the mall.
I used to see people in North Carolina that when there'd be a little bit of snow, they'd go into the shopping center parking lots and just put on slam on the brakes just because they wanted to spin around if there weren't any cars around.
Oh, who didn't do that? I would go to the industrial park after hours after it had been snowing. And
really?
Oh yeah, I'd take my my Mercury Grand Marquis, rear wheel drive. Oh, it was beautiful.
I guess you didn't know the meaning of the word deductible back then.
I didn't. I bought the car for like $400. I didn't care. All right, this is not a funny story. It's not a funny story, but it is something that happened this week that was so bizarre we could not leave it out. Jeffrey Spade. This is a 3 dead and murder-suicide over snow removal dispute, prosecutors say. And the video accompanying this story is bonkers if you saw the whole video unedited. Jeffrey Spade fatally shot his neighbors James Goy and his wife Lisa Goy before killing himself Monday morning when officers were called to West Berg Street in Plains Township, about 15 miles southwest of Scranton. Shortly before 9 a.m. on Monday, officers responded to a report of shots fired when they found the bodies of the Goys on the street. Law enforcement officials said they later heard a gunfire from Spade's house. Authorities later determined this to be the self-inflicted gunshot wound. Surveillance video shows that the Goys shoveled snow from their parking spots, pushed it across the street, and threw it onto Spade's property. After Spade asked the couple to stop throwing snow onto his property, the neighbors got into an argument where they appeared to have exchanged obscene gestures and expletives. And we do have audio. I bleeped out everything I think that needed to be bleeped out.
I hope so.
This is the exchange. This is cut 43.
I'll make your life live in hell living here, What? You heard me. You would probably... You're the scumbag! Oh, no, you don't with nobody! He's got behind. He's a fucking dog! You're you!
So, yeah, you couldn't gather much out of that, except everybody was angry and now everybody's dead. After that, immediately, Spade went into his garage, into his home, and came outside with a pistol. The Goys stood their ground, amazingly, and said, "Go ahead. What are you going to do? All right, go ahead." And he shot at them, missed the first maybe 5 or 6 times, then hit the man, then hit the woman. They both fell to the ground. He walked up to the woman and shot her point blank in the face, and then unloaded the rest of the clip into the man across the street, went back inside Howie, grabbed an AR-15 style rifle, and finished them off before going back inside.
I know, you're right. It's a horrific story, but it makes Boston tradition of just merely slashing one's tires, seem civilized.
Yeah. Wow. Did you see the complete
Yes, I did.
video?
Yes, I did.
It was horrific. I couldn't, folks, be nice to each other. If Police Blotter Facts Friday teaches you anything, let it teach you that.
All right. We will be right back with the winners and maybe a couple of more runners up. Everyone knows that Valentine's is all about the wow factor. So give her a reason to brag on the next Zoom call and win Valentine's with an enviable bouquet of red roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. I've got some right here. They've been around for a while, but they're still in good shape because the 1-800-Flowers roses are picked at the peak of their blooming, and they last for a long, long time. Right now, you can get at 1-800-Flowers will give you an amazing offer for my listeners. You could get 18 red roses for $39.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for just $10 more. That's right, 18 red roses for $39.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. It's really great. This came last week. The mailroom manager loved it. I told her that I had bought it for her. She didn't believe me, but she still loves it. These flowers have been beautiful. We've had them here all week. The smell is great, and your significant other will really appreciate the fact that she can brag on these, and she'll appreciate the fact that you gave her the opportunity to brag on them. An early delivery of red roses from 1-800-Flowers lets her show off to her friends just how much you love her. All roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak, cared for every step of the way, and shipped fresh to ensure lasting beauty. Think ahead this year and get 18 red roses for $39.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. The price is going to go up every day, everywhere, all next week as the Valentine's Day approaches. So order now. Bouquets are limited, so lock in your order today. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com. To order 18 red roses for $39.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for only $10 more, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon and enter code Howie. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Howie. Hurry. Offer expires today. I'm Howie Carr.
When Howie's on, every radio is a magic radio.
Here's 1 minute of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
There's a lot of restaurants that are feeling the pain of racism, where people are literally not patroning Chinese restaurants. They're not patroning Asian restaurants because of just straight up racism around the coronavirus. So,
only in America does when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work? When we, have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say no. We're not going back to that.
I know it sounds banal.
Do we know how long puppies are allowed to stay with their mothers after a dog has given birth?
I don't.
8 weeks. So the market has decided that women and people who give birth deserve less time with their children than a dog.
So the whole premise of the Green New Deal is that we're screwed.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings of Congresswoman Harris, Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy do on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
Every time you turn around, expect to see me. There's one time you'll turn around and I'll be there.
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. It's time for the winners in Police Blotter Facts Friday, maybe even a couple more of the runners-up. Right, Taylor?
Yes, let's do one more runner-up here, and this is a good one. Florida pizza man swiped puppy during delivery.
Oh, I love this one. This was a good one.
Arlinson.
I think I know who sent this one in, or among the people who sent it in.
Arlinson Chilito, 22 years old, was busted on suspicion of grand theft for allegedly taking a 10-month-old teacup poodle named Lexi from a Jacksonville Beach home Saturday.
Lexi. Roll over, Lexi.
The owner said his wife had ordered pizza through the delivery app Grubhub from the restaurant Gusto on Saturday night. When the delivery driver dropped off the food, the poodle somehow got out of their condo, as poodles are wont to do. Cholito allegedly grabbed the pooch and placed her in his delivery bag. He was seen on surveillance footage in the condo's elevator with the pet. Police said they tracked down Cholito with a poodle at a Jacksonville Beach home. Pooch has been reunited with her owners. Grubhub said in a statement that Cholito was actually not a driver for the company and had been using another contracted driver's account.
That's what they always say when, when a toy poodle is stolen.
On to our winners. This is a good one. Woman gives armed robber a favor to distract him until police arrived.
A favor?
Oh, my.
Yeah, a favor. This happened over in Slovakia. A petrol station robber was arrested after a mystery woman reportedly performed fellatio to distract him until police arrived. The would-be thief had allegedly burst into the station.
What was Bill Clinton doing in Slovakia?
Bratislava, before demanding cash from a terrified sales assistant. He was then said to have punched a male member of the staff and helped himself to the till. The employee then fled to the office where a coworker was before escaping out a back door and calling the police. The 24-year-old suspect was said to have followed him in and demanded more cash from the safe when the 36-year-old Czech woman, now named Employee of the Year, appeared and decided to stop him with what was described as an unusual method. By the time police arrived,
it was the happy ending gas station.
They found the pair lying half naked on the ground.
All right.
Put all the chicken in the bag. Restaurant customer turned away for not wearing mask, returns with gun.
Oh, I saw this. This was in Pasadena, right?
A maskless gunman held up a restaurant.
Was it the little old lady from Pasadena? Go, Granny, go, Granny, go, Granny, go.
But rather than emptying the cash register, the suspect demanded chicken that he had been refused because he wasn't wearing a face mask.
I think he demanded waffles too, as well, right?
I'm not sure about that. It was Roscoe's house of chicken and waffles. The chicken heist occurred after a man was told to leave because he refused to wear a mask.
Is that what you call fusion cooking? Waffles and chicken?
No, that's a traditional Southern dish. Yes. You've never heard of chicken and waffles?
No, I never have. I'm not a big waffles guy. I like pancakes.
They don't do chicken and pancakes. It's chicken and waffles.
Well, if they want to get me into the store, they're going to have to do chicken and pancakes, even if it's just a special off-menu order.
Even Roscoe's House of Chicken. Roscoe sounds like a Howie Carr kind of place.
Roscoe, that's what I'm going to name my new pug when I finally get my new pug.
Oh, you're confirming you are getting a new pug.
I want to get a new pug, and I want to get two new pugs. I want one of them to be named Roscoe and the other one to be named Elroy.
All right.
After George Jetson's son.
Oh, very good. The enraged customer reportedly stormed out before later returning with a gun. The hungry gunman then grabbed
he brought a Roscoe into Roscoe.
Exactly. Very good. He took several takeout orders that were already prepped and left. That's Police Blotter Facts Friday. Thanks, Pianadosi Baking Company.
All right, we'll be right back, and we'll discuss breaking your will. Charlie Parker's newest dream. I'm Howie Carr.
Like most companies, we here at Matthews Brothers are pretty proud of our website. Not so proud that we go around asking total strangers to visit it or anything like that, but proud enough to ask you to. Now, you might think that's the dumbest thing I've heard all day. Why the heck would I want to visit MatthewsBrothers.com? Where's the fun in that? And we'd be like, you don't have to make it personal, dude. There's lots of fun stuff to do there. And you'd be like what? And we'd be like the visualizer. And you'd be like, what the heck's a visualizer? And then we'd tell you. The visualizer is this nifty little application that allows you to completely remodel the exterior of your house. Play with different colors and styles to design the virtual home of your dreams. You'll have hours of fun this winter creating such visual masterpieces as a spruce green window with barn red sash and gray 4.5-inch banded casing and historic sill nosing. Then, once the thrill of that is worn off, you can play with the roofing and siding. You can learn more about our wicked awesome Maine-made windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. It cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
Hello, all the participants in tonight's event. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work. We will reclaim our credibility. The pandemic, we need all our strength to persevere. Rural versus urban. America built of decency. I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency. All my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here. James Joyce was said to have told a friend, I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay at bed at night staring at the ceiling. Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony. Come on, give me a break, man.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose.
I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level.
Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them.
It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado.
So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again.
So of course he's obsessed with me.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beats for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beats? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beats are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beats. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets, and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't
You have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Everyone has said things they wish they didn't say. Everyone has done things they wish they didn't do. So who's next? Who will the cancel culture attack next?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
I was in the chamber, unlike AOC, that faked her outrage with another hoax.
My brain was able to have so many thoughts in that moment.
You not only have great intellectual capacity, you have great personal courage. I've been with some of you when we've been shot at.
No way, I'm not buying it.
I lived a situation like that. And it doesn't have to be real, the threat, for you to believe it's imminent.
You believe. Jerry, just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
339 just texted me. I just picked up a fine spread from the Kowloon for my son's birthday. I'm going to eat a chicken finger in honor of Gooner. Thank you, 339, on my behalf and Gooner's behalf. Gooner wishes he could be joining you. All right. So the Mass Fiscal Alliance broke a story today. They posted a video from a $130,000 a year hack in the Charlie Baker administration, talking about how the Baker administration was planning to break your will. break your will with the TCI initiative, basically. But let's play the cut again. This is a guy by the name of Dave Ishmael. He's a drifter from California who came to Massachusetts, now lives in Chestnut Hill. I assume he's using peat bog to heat his house, and he rides a donkey to work in the morning, or at least the Green Line, because he apparently hates emissions. Let's listen to the cut.
60% of our emissions that need to be reduced come from you, the person across the street, the senior on fixed income, right? There is no bad guy left, at least in Massachusetts, to point the finger at, turn the screws on, and break their will so they stop emitting. That's you. We have to break your will, right? I can't even say that publicly. What I'm trying to say is,
we have to break your will. That guy is paid. He's a Charlie Baker hack, and he's paid $130,000 a year. And he's the undersecretary for climate change, which is like being the undersecretary for virtue signaling. And this is what Charlie Parker had to say about it when he was asked about it at his don't have any fun this weekend press conference. Cut one.
I saw the video this morning. Lieutenant Governor and I both did. Followed up with Secretary Theorides. First of all, no one who works in our administration should ever say or think anything like that, ever. Secondly, Secretary Theorides is going to have a conversation with him about that.
He's not going to be fired. They're just going to have a conversation. So joining us now on the line is Representative Dave Coast from Norwell, and he's one of the leaders in the legislature against this TCI, which, according to Tufts University, could raise the price of a gallon of gasoline as much as 38 cents a gallon. And this is one way they are planning to break your will and break everybody's will by forcing us to not heat our homes and not drive. They're not going to stop driving. They're not going to stop heating their homes, but they want us to stop. Dave DeCoste, am I overreacting to this?
No, Howie. As a matter of fact, I thought about this. By the way, as always, hats off to Matt's Fiscal for capturing this and making it known, because as always, if it was up to the Boston Globe, we'd never hear about it. So hats off to Matt's Fiscal and the Boston Herald and all the other New Boston Post and the folks who are covering these things, and WRKO, of course. When they said breaking, I've talked to you about this offline before. You would be surprised at the number of 60, 70, even 80-year-old people I have and I represent Norwell, Hanover, and Rockland in the legislature. The number of folks who are, doing their best. Some of them are working because they have to. Many of them are working because just they're industrious people. And these are the people he's talking about breaking. The families who are two-earner families who are going up and down Route 3 or Route 128 every day to try to do their best and raise money for the children, for their own families and so forth. They're participating in communities. They're running small businesses. Very many of them in my district are firefighters, police officers, a whole load of veterans, and of course school teachers and a zillion small businessmen and women. And these are the people he's talking about, putting the screws to, breaking. And frankly, when the governor, I support the governor, but when he heard that he's going to get the talk, I hope that fellow, Mr. Ishmael, gets the same talk that the same people who in DCR got the talk. They got the talk that it's time to resign and go find another job.
Yeah, I don't understand how we could say something like this. I mean, this should be disqualifying if a Democrat says this or someone who works. I mean, he's obviously a liberal puke, but even a Democrat administration shouldn't tolerate this kind of talk. Break your will. I mean, that's fascistic to say something like that, isn't it?
I would say it's got a totalitarian undertone, doesn't it? You'd expect to hear something like that out of the old East Germany or in Cuba, maybe, China, Red China. So yeah, it really is. It is very disappointing, and I would hope by the end of next week, this time, that this fella is on his way
back to California.
Yeah, well, it'd probably do quite well out there, but he's probably it's probably certainly somebody that really, when we look at redundancy in the state bureaucracy, he probably ought to be placed at the top of the list soon.
Undersecretary for Climate Change. He hasn't missed a single paycheck. Well, all of your constituents, there's a story today, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1 out of 11 jobs in Massachusetts was lost last year, but not the Undersecretary for Climate Change.
And if you, as you know, this would be the case for every suburban representative. If you go down in my district, Route 228, 53, Route 139, and look at the number of businesses that have either closed, or you talk to the business owners, or they're just getting by, it really, really makes you think that, when you have somebody who should be considering himself, by the way, a public servant, talking about the people who pay his salary with that tone, it really, really is disappointing. And I hope that Governor Baker reassesses who he is hiring and who he's especially retaining.
What's the latest on TCI, this proposal? And again, they keep putting out this spin. Oh, it's only going to be a nickel to 7 cents. But of course, they can't break your will with a nickel extra. It's as bad as it is. They want to jack it up to 38 cents a gallon, which is what Tufts University says would be required, a 38 cents a gallon increase in the gas tax. That's what Tufts says would be required to meet their goals. So what is the status of the TCI, the break your will increase in the gas tax?
Howie, that's a good question. It's a good question. It depends on who you have asked. I've asked 2 or 3, individuals who should know, or agencies, and you get 3 or 4 different answers. Whether it be Mass Fiscal or Pioneer Institute or the folks in our own, legislature, and the staff do a good job, but the administration contends they already have the ability to do it. We'll see, and we'll see at one point. I know I just filled up, and I can tell you the high test is now coming up on $4 a gallon at Exxon anyway. And you have a system whereby the whole border, and this comes up again, bipartisan concern, we're going to give the whole strip of Massachusetts bordering New Hampshire yet another reason to go north and pick up and shop.
Exactly. And the people in Connecticut.
When you ask what the status is, it's a bit of a mystery now. I think we'll know later. And of course, now we have to worry about this possibly at the federal level, something along these lines.
Right. And they're also talking about a per mile a gallon tax cut. Buttigieg, the new transportation secretary, was talking about that. So,
well, to his credit, Governor Baker has already said absolutely not to that. So, and I know that that is not something that's going to fly, I think, in the state. And by the way, something we didn't touch on. All of these increases in the fuel prices are something that the Democrats and the liberals are supposed to oppose, which is a regressive tax. All of these increases fall most heavily on lower income individuals. It's just not a good way to control behavior or raise taxes either way.
Charlie said that he was elected in 2014, basically riding on the coattails of the referendum question to stop the automatic gas tax increases. Does it ever occur to anyone, or do you guys ever mention it to him, that there's a certain huge level of hypocrisy here and double dealing, two-faced political backstabbing, to get elected to keep the gas prices down and then try to increase them more than any governor in history without either legislative or popular approval?
Howie, I can tell you, the governor, he governs and he runs statewide. And so he faces a little bit different reality than if he had, for instance, a Republican 1/3 plus 1 in the Senate or House. I can tell you, I'm sure that, I know the governor's heart is in the right place, but he has I think is in the position of having to moderate and mitigate some really bad ideas that are going to be coming out of the legislature. And, I'm a supporter of Governor Baker. I voted for him twice. I'll vote for him a third time if it comes to this. But the bottom line is the voters, I think, within the footprint of WRKO really need to go out and if the governor had a third plus one in either the House or the Senate, things would be radically different in Massachusetts. That much I am absolutely certain of, and they would be a better for the positive.
You think he'd be a real I haven't seen him acting like a Republican for a very long time, Dave. I didn't vote for him in 2018, honestly.
Well, Howie, I guess I'm just a little more sunshine and happiness than you are, at least regarding this site. But I think the governor's heart is in the right place. He again, some of the ideas we're seeing out of this legislature, and I know it's a bit far afield, but on everything from rent control to taxes, and I know you've looked at the recent Pioneer study where we're losing and hemorrhaging. High income people are leaving right after retirement, either going to New Hampshire or Florida or elsewhere. We could be in the same boat in 5 or 10 years that Connecticut is in now, and that's not a good place to be in.
All right, Dave DeCoste, I always appreciate it. And, keep up the fight against the TCI, because it's just going to just accelerate the decline and fall of the once great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, as you know.
I will do that, Howie, and best to you and your staff in 2021.
Thank you. That's Dave DeCoste. He's the state rep from Plymouth County, from Norwell and Hanover. And I think maybe, I don't know, with another place too, another town too, as well, or part of another town. Thank you, Dave DeCoste. My friends at Eden Pure have done it again. Starting today, you can get the Thunderstorm air purifier at the lowest price offered to my listeners. With code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90 and shipping is free. This New Year sale is for 1 week only and while supplies last. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand and plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. This could be pet odor, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell you may have in your basement. No filters are needed. I've seen comparable units that retail for more than $600 in doctors' offices, and I ask myself, why didn't they just order the Thunderstorm?
I bet people that have already ordered the Thunderstorm, when they have a peaceful protest at their home on Sunday, they're going to get a lot of compliments on how great their house smells.
Right. And it's going to, those chicken wings that you're going to put over the arson fire that you've put up as part of your peaceful protest. This takes care of the chicken smells. It takes care of maybe Uncle Bob smoking a cigar out on the patio, and the smell is drifting in. It takes care of everything. The Thunderstorm doesn't take up floor space, and it's quiet. Take advantage of this 1 week only sale and experience for yourself what all the listeners are raving about. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie. That's EdenPure.com, code word Howie. Shipping is free. I'm Howie Carr.
He's New England's talk radio king. He's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Old New England Soap. From bath bombs to candles for her and shave soap for him, Old New England Soap has what you need for Valentine's Day. Order today at oldnesoap.com.
Hello, all the participants in tonight's event. We can overcome the deadly virus. We can reward work. We will reclaim our credibility. The pandemic, we need all our strength to persevere. Rural versus urban. America built of decency. I took it to instill public confidence in the vaccine. President-elect Harris took hers today for the same reason. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency. All my colleagues I serve with in the House and the Senate up here. James Joyce was said to have told a friend, I understand they worry about their jobs. I understand, like my dad, they lay at bed staring at the ceiling. Yes. God love you, man. You're a one-horse pony. Come on, give me a break, man.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
Brace yourself, guys. Here's 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. That they wanted their voices to be heard. I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they are not getting paid 163 Republicans voted no. Wisdom from the kitchen of the Willard Hotel, yes, Nick. The president either doesn't know what he's talking about or doesn't want to know what he's talking about.
I could still teach you a few, kid. You're just a tin-horn thug and you always will be. You haven't got the guts to be anything else.
The Howie Carr Show.
Today's poll question is brought to you by the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. For all your house odors, you need the Eden Pure Air Purifier. Go to EdenPure.com, and with code word Howie, the Thunderstorm is available for under $90, and shipping is free. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Who is Joe Biden rooting for on Sunday? The Chicago Cardinals, Houston Oilers, Dallas Texans, Oakland Raiders, San Diego Chargers, or the Boston Patriots?
I think he may be rooting for the Boston Redskins. That was another team that's moved. They moved to Washington, and then they dropped the name. But there was a Redskins in Boston. I don't know. I'm going to vote for the Chicago Cardinals.
They've got 41% of the vote, whereas the Boston Patriots get 38%.
That's Ed Markey's team, the Boston Patriots. All right. 844-500-4242. We can open up the lines and we can talk about this. This is really outrageous that this guy is still on the payroll. You know, I mean, why would I think Dave DeCoste was making a good point. Why was he on the payroll anyway? The undersecretary of climate change. Do we have an undersecretary of unicorn hunting? An undersecretary of how many angels can fit on the head of a pen? I mean, it's ridiculous. What does a hack in Massachusetts who drifted in from California have to do with saving the planet? It's absurd. Here's a great quote from C.S. Lewis. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own goodwill torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. Oh, it's so true, isn't it? To be cured against one's will in curative states, which we may not regard as disease, is to be put on a level of those who have not yet reached the age of reason or those who never will. And that's what they're doing to us, to be classed with infants, imbeciles, and domestic animals. So true. And I would say they're the imbeciles here, you know? I mean, who's buying this? That jacking up the gas tax by 38 cents is going to save a single polar bear? Is going to save the rainforest? Are you kidding me? They think we're stupid. They think we're the deplorables. But on the other hand, they haven't missed a single paycheck. They didn't take a single pay cut all last year. They all had wonderful years. And we took it, we took it you know where. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
He's not on. Okay,
sorry. 844-500-4242. We will. We got another. We got a guy.
No, he's not screened
No?
yet.
Okay, he's not screened. All right. Okay. 844-500-4242. I'm going to talk when we come back. We're going to talk about this New York Times story about what's the problem with the vaccination program in the liberal states and countries. Why are they having a problem? Because it's all about equity rather than getting people vaccinated. Arthur, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Arthur.
Hey, Howie, how are you this afternoon?
Good.
I got a question for you. How is it that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has a total of more employees now than they had at the start of the pandemic?
Because the hacks had to be taken care of. You know, when when the restaurant closed down or the shoe store closed down or the gym closed down, you know, the hacks needed to get their relatives on the payroll in a six-figure job. A lot of them. That's a really good question, though. But I just gave you the answer. You knew the answer. I'm Howie Carr.
Hey, Howie, Lou Dobbs got canceled.
He did?
Yep.
Wow.
I'll send you the story.
Jesus. Thanks. Jesus. Sound?
Will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Staying home saves lives. I don't want some jack loser, fat tire biker get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it. All right, here it is. The official re-entry from the basement.
You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh, my.
And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't two of these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
How will the president be watching the game, and who he'll be rooting for?
Who he'll be rooting for? Oh boy, that's my first way to get hate mail from one part of the country. There's a division among our senior staff, I will admit, on this particular question, but I won't name names. The president will be watching the game in Delaware with his family, of course, his wife, Dr. Biden.
Jen, a follow-up question. The game doesn't start until about 6:30. What's the president planning to do to stay up long after his bedtime? Yeah, I can't imagine him making it to halftime, let alone to the end of the game. 844-500-4242. It's Friday night. Fox News decided to drop some, I guess, bad news. It's bad news as far as I'm concerned. Lou Dobbs' show has been canceled. It airs twice nightly, 5 and 7 p.m. on the Fox Business Network. Will have its final airing tonight, according to a Fox News representative. Starting next week, the program will be called Fox Business Tonight, with rotating substitute hosts Jackie DeAngelis and David Assman, who filled in for Dobbs on Friday. So this is the last night, but Dobbs is already gone. They didn't even give him a chance to say goodbye. Dobbs, 75, remains under contract at Fox News, but it will in all likelihood not appear on the company's networks again. So it's, they're really mad at you when they fire you when you have time remaining on your contract, because they got to pay you. In addition to his Fox Business Network program, he occasionally turned up on the Fox News channel as a commentator, but this is why they did it, and what I'm about to tell you from the LA Times. The cancellation comes a day after voting software company Smartmatic filed a $2.7 million defamation suit against Fox News and 3 of its hosts, Dobbs, Maria Bartiromo, and Jeanine Pirro. The company claims the hosts perpetuated lies and disinformation about Smartmatic's role in the election, damaging its business and reputation. I don't think they'll be firing Maria Bartiromo, because she's just gotten sort of a semi-promotion. She's now one of the rotating hosts on the 7 o'clock show, which replaced Martha McCallum, which was dying in the ratings. And I don't know about Jeanine Pirro, though, because she's just on occasion. She's just got that Saturday night show. Should be easier to get rid of. They may get rid of her too. 844-500-4242. 781, another follow-up question. What medical school did Dr. Biden go to? Laughing out loud. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, we've all asked that question. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
Hello, Howie.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. I just want to say we're going to miss President Trump when we're sitting in gas lines for 2 hours to buy 3 gallons of gas at $5 per gallon. You know.
I hope it doesn't come to that, Joe, but I must admit that same thought has occurred to me and millions of other Americans, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's only half of it. Remember, when we're freezing in our house, we're told we have to turn our thermostat to 40 degrees and wear 3 sweaters because we don't have enough natural gas to keep ourselves warm.
Remember Carter telling people to wear sweaters? That was not one of the highlights of my TV viewing over the decades, Joe. And the national malaise. How long until Joe Biden says that America is suffering from a national malaise? No, we're suffering from a bad president. That's what we're suffering from. You're right, Joe. We're gonna miss him when we're paying all that extra money and just having a target on our backs as motorists. That's the other thing. I don't like being treated as like an enemy of the state because I drive a car, especially when the people that are targeting me have bigger cars and aren't paying for theirs. I'm paying for theirs as well as my own car, right? Like this, the undersecretary of climate change. Do you think we may be providing him with a car? Someone says, do we also have an undersecretary of continental drift? Yeah, we can do about as much about continental drift as we can about climate change. Why? I think we need one. Probably should get $131,000 as opposed to this California drifter's $130,000, so he can live in Chestnut Hill. You ever live in Chestnut Hill? It's a nice neighborhood. Mighty big houses. Takes a lot of fuel oil or natural gas or even wood to heat your average house in Chestnut Hill. Thanks for the call, Joe. Peter, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Peter.
Hey, Howie. Nice to talk to you tonight.
Thanks. Go ahead.
You know, I think conservative and sane voters of Massachusetts would do better to stop providing any support for the Charlie Baker, the Crash Murray, the Jane Swift wing of the GOP, and just try to find center or center
Crash was a Democrat, but I understand what you're saying. In a way, Peter, you're right. We are what they call in the 12-step programs enablers. We enable them to get away with their wretched behavior, don't we? By voting for them.
Let the Massachusetts GOP die. Just find Democrat candidates that you can support.
They're harder and harder to find. 30, 40 years ago, there were decent Democrats. There are still a few, but they're a lot rarer than they used to be, and they're an endangered species.
I know, but at least the Massachusetts Democrat Party wants to slit my throat, and the Massachusetts GOP wants to stab me in the back.
That's a really good way to put it. I never thought of it that way, Peter, but I got to remember that one. The Massachusetts GOP wants to stab me in the back. Not all of them, but the leaders of the party certainly do want to stab you in the back. Thanks for the call, Peter. 917, Fox firing Dobbs makes me feel like an even bigger schmuck for defending them all these years. Yeah, it's, they tossed him over the side. I think they probably wanted to get rid of him anyway, and this is just a convenient excuse. Let's see. 508, time to make sure those tires are properly inflated. Yeah, remember Obama? Obama had a number of great observations about energy. He said we can't dig our way out of this. And he also said that if people would just properly inflate their tires, we wouldn't have a dependence on Mideast oil. Okay. And he also thought, of course, that the Austrians spoke Austrian and that the Afghans spoke Arabic. He's one of the smartest men ever to be president of the United States. Just ask him. David, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Howie. I just heard about Lou Dobbs. I couldn't believe that. It's like, what's wrong with Fox News? They're weak. What are they doing this for? Get rid of somebody that tells the truth? Is that what they're afraid of? And Judge Janine, are they getting rid of her too? Did you say? Or?
No. I just said there three. Those are the three hosts that are named in the complaint that's filed by Smartmatic, which is like over $2 billion. It's ridiculous, obviously, but that's what they filed. So they filed the names of Lou Dobbs, Janine Pirro, and Maria Bartiromo. And I'm just saying, but they're not going to get rid of Bartiromo, I don't think, because she's very popular. She's good looking. She's a classic Fox host, and she's been with them since day one. But Lou Dobbs is 75, and they don't. I'm sure that the two daughters-in-law of Rupert go crazy when they see Lou Dobbs on TV, and Janine Pirro is the same thing. She's not quite as old as Lou Dobbs, but I think. I don't know. I think she might be on 1 foot on a banana peel too. I hope not. I kind of like Janine Pirro. I've met her a few times, and she seems like a good person. But Lou Dobbs was really, really on the front lines during the whole Russiagate hoax. I mean, he did a good job with that. And, we were all misled and, led down the primrose path that the Durham report was going to produce something and Bill Barr was on the level and all that stuff. We were all misled, and it's too bad. And it's just a shame that no one has gone to jail. But I like Lou Dobbs. 844-500-4242. Let's see. 339. How are all these liberals going to commit suicide by running their electric cars in the closed garage doors when it all hits the fan? These are some good questions here tonight as we approach Super Bowl weekend. And 508 says this is what happens when the Murdoch sons take over. Yeah, they're very liberal. I mean, this is what happens in so many families. You have a entrepreneur. Rupert himself was actually second generation. His father owned a couple of smaller newspapers in Australia. And Rupert was the tycoon and built it up into a multi-continent, multi-hemisphere operation. And now the kids are just, they're rich kids. They're spoiled rich kids. Murray Kempton always used to say that, when Rupert became a mogul, the New York tabloids lost a great deputy managing editor, meaning someone who could lay out the front page and do a good job of it every day. And that's what Rupert would do. Rupert loved, going over the papers when they'd come, whether it was the Boston Herald when he was in town or the New York Post when he was in New York or the Sun or the News of the World in London. And he would just critique the way the front page of the tabloid was laid out. And, I appreciate that as a newspaper guy. The Sons don't give a damn. Actually, though, today there was an interesting story in the New York Post about the quarterly reports for the News Corp. That's what's left, with the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post and I guess Fox. And they said that for the first time ever since Rupert bought it, and probably long before that, the Post actually turned a profit in the last quarter of the year, which is good news. I don't know if it'll last, and I don't even know if it's true, but I was pleased to read that. 844-500-4242. Let's see here. Okay. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm always looking at a screen now more than ever. And whether you're an avid news watcher or in serious need of a distraction, unplugging yourself is easier said than done. One of my favorite ways to rest my eyes and still get the content I'm itching for, by putting in my Raycon wireless earbuds and listening to something great. I don't know about you. I'm watching a lot less news. I'm watching almost no news on TV anymore, and I'm certainly not watching sitcoms, and I'm not watching too much sports except for football, which is about to end. So I got a lot more time for listening to good tunes and to good podcasts. And that's
Howie,
yes.
Thank you, and thank you again. I got my Raycons yesterday, plugged them in, loved them. I was so shocked at how simple they were to set up. You just take them out of the case, put them in your ear. They're already on, and it's so easy to use. The sound quality is tremendous. I'm listening to music that I've heard 1,000 times before, and I'm noticing different things in the songs that I never heard before. And it's all because of Raycon. So
why did you let me go on for 20 seconds? You should have done the whole spot since you just got the new. You're excited. You're not used to them like me and Grace. And
you get paid to do the spots.
Raycons are built to perform anywhere and anytime with water and sweat resistant construction and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly, and with enough battery life for 6 hours of playtime. You know how much Frank Sinatra he can listen to, Taylor, when he has 6 hours of playtime? You can
Probably all the 30s and the 40s, maybe.
you can unplug for a while. You can hear the early version of One for My Baby. Not the good one, but the early one. Raycons come in a range of stylish colorways with a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look. The best part, Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone with wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio brands. Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners, and here's what you've got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. With football season ending, you have even less reason to watch TV and more reason to buy Raycons.
And 413 asks if the Raycons contain a microphone, and yes, the sound quality on the calls is terrific. And you don't need to hold the phone. You just shove it in your pocket, put it in your ears, and you're great.
And none of those white things coming out of your ears either.
No stems, no wires. People don't even know you have anything in your ear when you're looking at them. So you can pretend to have conversation.
Yes, exactly. Pretend. That's a key word. I'm Howie Carr.
You're tuned into the Howie Carr Radio Network.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you today in part by Nauset Beach Inn. Open this winter for the first time in 63 years. Take advantage of their ocean view room rate while rooms are still available. Low price available only at nausetbeachinn.com.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad, and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beats for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beats? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beats are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beats. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaps anyway? Of course.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
got hate mail?
You bloated idiot! You stupid fat you!
Send it to Grace at HowieCarShow.com.
As people are learning about the firing of Lou Dobbs on the internet right now, there's a recurring meme theme. Get woke, go broke for Fox News. 844-500-4242. Neil, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Neil.
Hey, Howie, I love you and your crew. I'm calling for the Cape.
Thank you.
The only reason why I was watching Fox was for Lou Dobbs. Now I will never watch Fox. Never. That's it. I'm done.
I think that was the high. People are saying that was the highest rated program on Fox Business Network. And maybe Maria, but Maria was on early in the morning. So probably it was the highest rated program. Remember, they got rid of Trish Regan, too, because she said COVID was being used against President Trump. Do you think history has proven her correct, Neil?
I think so. And I used to watch Fox News, the Brett Beer, just for the last 10 minutes to listen to the panel, but it was all never Trumpers, and I couldn't take it anymore. And Lou Dobbs is the only, all we had left.
Yeah, it's certainly. Well, I like Tucker, but it's getting harder and harder to watch it. It's just they're woke. Get, again, as I said, get woke, go broke. That's what it is. These women. One of the daughters-in-law, didn't she put it out on social media when Biden was declared the winner? We won. Did she understand it? I mean, I guess the last few years, Fox News has been making over $1 billion a year. Over $1 billion a year. So I guess you don't need to have too many winning years so that you could just tell your audience to go take a what in their hat. Rocky, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Rocky.
Hey, Howie, thanks for taking my call. Hey, the thing with Parker and the TCI. Now, all that money, it's another tax, as you know. That money goes into the unions, right, and pensions and everything. It doesn't go to where. Well,
they claim it's going to go to initiatives to save the planet, but that's all BS. You can't earmark money. It's ridiculous. And you're right. They said that all the money from the automatic gas tax increase was going to go to save the environment. But it turns out over 50% was going to go to the hack salaries and pensions on the MBTA. So you're right, Rocky.
Hey, Howie, one other thing, and I'll get off. All these people that have the dough with these big houses, I don't see any solar companies out in San Francisco, Pelosi's, any Martha's Vineyard, Obama. What's up with that?
Yeah, and if they're so concerned about global warming, how come people like John Kerry and Barack Obama are buying houses right on the ocean on Martha's Vineyard? Those are the first places that are going to go if this is true, what they're talking about. Thanks for the call, Rocky. Mary Lou, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
I got an appointment to get a vaccination tomorrow.
Congrats.
And guess what? Thank you. I have to bring an ID. And I was wondering if this was vaccination suppression.
Yeah. Mary Lou, what a fine observation that is. It is vaccination suppression. Yeah. Why should you, it's discouraging you from getting the vaccination you need to save your life. How dare they? How dare they?
How dare you?
What are we going to have a vaccination tax, like a poll tax? All right. Have a good Super Bowl weekend. Have a good peaceful protest. I'm Howie Carr.